And then he got back in his car and left, and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And then ever since I started coming over here, when he would make eye contact, I was like, I hope he does not remember
Oh
me.
my gosh, you're like, I hope that he thinks I'm just a different person.
Yeah.
Do you think he notices you?
He stared when I had my Mazda, because that's what was the car that happened, and he's looked at it for a long time, so I don't know.
No.
Maybe.
Oh no.
And we and then a couple things too is
There's definitely been some invisible string, the invisible
Yeah.
string. There's definitely been some invisible string things that we've been like, oh my gosh, that's so wild.
what was it, Nate? How's Nate?
Yeah, my brother's best friend growing up, my brother's name is Nate. His name is also Nate, his friend. And they were our neighbors. They lived 2 streets down from us, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I was in the same time that I was stalking Elena's Instagram, looking at the Aerostore photo. I saw a picture of her doing grad photos because she does photography too, and so she was doing grad photos for someone, and I was like, hey, that's Nate C. I was like, oh my gosh, I know him. That's my brother's best friend growing up, and I guess she's really close with his older sister because they're about the same age. Her name's Bree. And then Bree would babysit me when I was a kid.
Wow.
Bree, she's my older sister. So she's our neighbor.
One person
She's
away.
arranged.
Yeah, no, she literally babysat me so many times growing up. And I was like, that's crazy that Elena is genuinely really close with Bree. She said she's the only friend that she keeps, one of the only friends she keeps up with from when she was younger. And so it's literally insane that we
And then the last kind of one,
know each other.
we're in the same city, so I understand this one. Is my main pastor for of 10 years is her
brother's pastor.
Yeah, whatever. His wife's brother's pastor. That's her pastor. That's kind of that.
I mean, there's a lot of churches, so
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. But the one that was 3, and you were all fucking figuring this out in the moment.
Yeah.
It's in the photo. Yeah, and I think she's in her. Is she in your photo?
No.
No, she wasn't. I thought
She's not. I looked. I didn't think I saw her in any of my
I thought she
photos.
was.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, no. But either way.
Jacob, what the fuck do you think about that? Do you think soulmates exist, or do you think you create them, or neither?
I don't know anymore. So.
Have you ever?
Heartbreak.
I think to some extent maybe, but not in any kind of predisposed way. You know?
Did you used to feel about it a different way, and then it changed over time?
I don't think so.
It's always felt the same way.
Just about, but I think there was a point in time where I was kind of delving into the possibility of all right, everybody kind of having that one person.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remembered that there's an uneven amount of males and females on the planet. So
that's a great fucking point. So
well, then the odds for the gays.
That's
not
true.
even up.
Oh no,
Yeah.
the gays throw a wrench in this actually.
Yeah.
it's Pride Month, so I won't speak on that.
Okay.
Are we recording?
Yeah, it's probably it's June. I was also wondering that. I was like, wow, we've been on air.
I don't know if we were starting or we were just talking.
Yeah.
Should we intro it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Well,
This is the fucking intro. Welcome to Pieces of the Puzzle, motherfucker.
yeah.
Do you want to introduce your guest, or how do you want to do this?
So
I'll be your host.
how we all met. So we work at First Watch. We won't say the location just
Who
in
works
case.
at First Watch? Sorry.
Huh?
Who does?
Lydia, and then Robert, and then me, Corey, and then Tatiana's my girlfriend, as you guys know. And then Jacob is Robert's friend. He does not work at First Watch, but he is one of the homies. So
Appreciate that. Yeah.
this is everybody.
Yeah. So, do you want to bring up the topic we were talking about, or you want to just...
No, I want to talk about the whole what we're
Soulmates?
The Soulmates thing?
Okay.
So, what do you guys did your perspective change after that event happened, or do you think?
I think it's always been the invisible string theory. I believe.
You
So
think there's been a person?
You think there's a person out there for you?
Yeah, or someone I think maybe for us, we've always been some way of one person. You know those videos you see they're always almost crossing paths, but they never
it's
do.
the 7 degrees of separation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So you've always felt that way too?
I don't know. I don't really believe in I don't know if I believe in everyone has one person that they're meant to be with forever, because someone could have a soulmate and then their soulmate dies and then they marry someone else and that person is also their soulmate in a way, I feel like it's kind of I do think that you meet people for a reason and you have soulmates in terms of friends for a reason, but they may not be I don't necessarily believe that they're your soulmate forever,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
it doesn't
maybe
have to be for it can be temporary or a season.
Yeah, I feel like it can be for a season.
But
you still think they're meant to be though?
I think they're meant to be.
But do you think they're predetermined, or do you think that they can just become significant during a certain time?
I mean, I feel like that would depend on do you think your personality is predetermined? Do you think
Like,
what
do
do you think the decisions you're gonna make? Like, do I think the decisions I'm gonna make are predetermined, or do I think we have free will? Like, I don't even have like an opinion on that. Like, that's way too.
Do we
Like,
think
We don't have to go there yet. We
yeah,
can
like
touch
that's what
on
I'm
that.
saying. I was
Yeah,
like, I
sorry.
feel like that's a little deeper. Like, I feel like whether or not I believe that it's predetermined would be relying on the fact of
Like your
if we have
religious
free
belief.
will. Well, not even just religious belief, but like, do we have free will, or are our actions predetermined? You know.
You're asking if soulmates are romantic only?
Or like relationship only. Like, do they have to be a relationship?
That's a great point. I don't think so.
Like, I think
They can apply to
pets
anything.
can be soulmates. Like, I think children,
Yeah.
best friends.
I don't know.
I do feel like it's relationally specific, though. If that's what you're asking,
Yeah.
like, yes, like the relationship between you and your pet, or you and your
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
or like, because then it would just be like destiny. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be like a soulmate. It would
Exactly.
be like your destiny.
For the record, my opinion is that I don't think there's a person for you, and I think you can have multiple soulmates, but I think you ultimately create it. I think there can be a really good time for two people to meet where they're like at the peak of their growth stage and they're very like vulnerable and open and willing to like accept that person that they meet. And I think they can just like thrive.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm at. I don't know what would what would happen, what would need to me to experience something for me to like change. That I believe it, but I mean, what you guys shared, that's crazy. That's,
Well,
I would definitely
what was the
question
name of that movie where they all die and both of her husbands are in the afterlife?
Eternity.
Eternity. Yes.
I want to see that movie.
I wanted to
it.
see it too, but I
Yeah.
never saw it. I heard it was good.
Okay, so if you see it, I mean, that might change your perspective a little bit, because when you brought up, like, if you have a soulmate and then they die and then you remarry.
Well, that's literally what that's what
Oh.
made me think of that, because I remember seeing the trailer and I was like, well, that's really interesting. Like, it's
Yeah.
genuinely like a good movie plot, because it's like, wow, what do
It's a
you do
new
in that
concept.
situation? Yeah, it's for sure like something that's like, it's a thinker, you know. And so,
Because
don't
like the first
spoil it.
person, yeah, I won't spoil anything. But it's like the first
It's
person
Miles.
that you were in love with, like you didn't break up with him; they passed away.
Right.
So it's like that doesn't mean that the connection wasn't genuine.
Right.
But then you find somebody else, and then does that make that connection less genuine, or like more genuine, or
Right.
whatever? And I won't spoil it, but based on like the movie, I think there can be a right answer of like whose connection is stronger, and that could indicate who your soulmate is, even though you might be in love with like multiple people or have loved multiple people.
Yeah.
Because I think you can love people, but they're not necessarily your soulmate. Like, I'm sure like some of your exes, you genuinely like cared for them and loved them, but like doesn't mean that they're your soulmate. You know?
No, they're my soulmate.
I'm your soulmate.
No, every
I'm the
single one of
captain
them.
now. But yeah, that's my take on it, I guess.
No, that's really interesting. I think it involves like I think for people I think different experience change your perspective on that specifically.
Yeah, and I guess it's hard because hindsight is 20/20. So like, if you were to like, let's say, watch your life on replay at the very end, like you would be able to see, okay, yes, that person was my soulmate because I had them throughout like my entire life, or like this period of my life, or I loved them the most. So like, in that way, there is a soulmate, I guess. But like, I don't know if that really means anything.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or it could be just like that happened to be the most ideal matchup for you in
Yeah,
the terms of like
in
right
your
person,
life.
right time.
Yes.
And like maybe that was just the most right person, right time, as opposed to other people who may have been the right person at the wrong time, or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
wrong person at a good time.
The crazy part is sometimes they're there to teach you a bad lesson or something the hard way.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like, it doesn't matter how you define it. It's like either if it was good or bad, it's like as long as it was worthwhile.
Yeah.
But I think you can make anything worthwhile if you're an optimist.
Yeah.
I think you can find anything good in just about anything bad.
Yeah, and a productive use of time.
Yeah, for sure.
So really quick, how old is everybody? Because I think, like, we're older, right?
You're
We're
20,
old.
28?
I'm 27.
27.
Excuse you.
Oh,
Whoa, I'm not there
whoa.
yet. 27. How old are you, Jacob? 24.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
20.
Oh, you're 20.
I'm
You're 20?
You're 20?
24.
24.
Oh, you're 24?
Yeah.
I thought you were 21. I thought you were 22.
You thought he was 21?
She's like, he's an old man. What do you mean? And then how old are you?
29.
So you're the oldest at the table.
Wow, you're 29?
Yeah.
So wow, this is perfect.
Pushing
Did you not know
30.
that?
No,
Pushing
I thought
30.
you were like 27.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not too far out.
Oh man. So
Approaching
it's
middle age.
perfect because we have kind of a good like array of numbers here of ages. Do you think, based on your age group and like what the popular trends are in like your age demographic, that your perception of love is different or affected by like your age or the people that you grew up around, like maybe the technology that you grew up with, or like how people perceive love? Because I know that I hear all the time that modern love or dating is awful. So I don't know.
I think it's different, but I don't think it's awful. I think it's a perception thing.
Yeah.
No, I've heard. Well, I mean,
Do we think that
I
internet
feel like
ruined
it's
it?
the outlook.
Like,
yeah, that's what I guess I'm wondering because when we met, we didn't meet on Tinder, but like I feel like at that time it wasn't. I don't know. I feel like the vibe is different now with like younger kids and dating.
any thoughts about Tinder, Jacob? No.
Have you been on Tinder?
Yeah.
What's your experience been like?
Not proud of it, man enough to say it. I've been on Tinder.
We literally met on Tinder, so no
The eye
shame.
contact.
No, yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry,
Definitely
Rachel.
not. By the way, I mean, yeah, no, like unless you're like a fucking like 6'5" Chad, dude, like it's probably not gonna work for you, you know.
I'm 5'6".
From what I
met
ever
her.
Well, okay, hey, fair enough. No, see, but 6'5" backwards though, so it's like,
But to be fair, you did not have your height listed on your profile. Not that it would have mattered to me,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you didn't have your height listed.
Like,
Just so you know.
I did second guess when I walked in. I'm just kidding.
Did you have your height posted?
I think so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I feel like the more specific you are, the more.
But then like people write you off for like something so stupid.
I know, it's so fucked.
Have you seen that one
But
Black Mirror
then you
episode?
weed out the people who would write you off for something.
That's what I'm
true.
saying.
Have you ever seen the Black Mirror episode where
a great
like
one.
they test the couples on like and their how often they would run away together?
What? No.
Yeah, it's like you're on like a dating app, whatever, but it's like a real life one, and you like spend like there's a timer, and they whatever gets rolled, and how much time you spend with them is that's it, and you put in it's like a
So
It's
they
a
get like a
simulation.
set amount of time.
yeah with that person, it's random every time.
Oh,
And
it's like a
then-
speed date.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. But it could
okay.
be 6 months, 8 months, could be a year.
What? With a
Yeah,
random person every
Yeah,
time?
exactly. And sometimes it really sucks. They showed, and then eventually they're like, forget the system. The people that fall in love like, forget the system. Let's run away. And then they show your perfect match is the one that you run away the most with.
Oh.
So at the end, you get revealed. Not to spoil it, but you get revealed
Tell us.
that they're in a simulation the whole time. And it shows that like this couple in every simulation they ran away together almost every single time because they want to be in love. Whether like they have 6 months left to go, they still want to get away from him and spend the rest of their lives together.
That's kind of a perfect system. But in a
Let's
roundabout
do
way.
that.
Let's do that instead of Tinder.
Yeah, right? Stick people in a simulation.
Interesting. I never heard. What, is that a newer episode?
Like season 3 or 4.
Okay.
3. It's one of the earlier seasons.
There's some crazy episodes.
It's so good.
So what do you propose is like is what generation you grow up in is your love? Do you think of love in a different way?
Yeah, or like, do you have a more optimistic view on love? Because I feel like our older generations, at least just from like when I've been talking to people, they had a different view on love of it being something like more sacred and like
Yeah.
they're willing to wait for it and like put in the time and effort. But I feel like now it's kind of like a lot of people, if they don't find what they feel like to be love right away, they either like give up too quickly or they just like want to hop around as quickly as possible when they stop feeling satisfied instead of like really putting in work for the relationship, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I do feel like modern, like this generation's view of love is a lot more pessimistic
Yeah.
than like the traditional view of like marriage or love or.
Yeah.
I would argue the other side. I agree with all of that, but I would also say like maybe our parents and our friends' parents, you saw a lot of marriages like they obviously weren't in love, but they stayed together for the kids.
Yeah,
or
that's true.
Marriage is just like something that you never break because of religion or all these reasons, and they just stay like miserable. And in our generation, your guys' generation, I feel like
They're out right away.
Yeah, for
we're
sure.
out right away. They're out actually too quick because like delayed
It's like the
gratification.
pendulum swung way far the other way. It was like really far over here where it's like you stick it out no matter what.
Right.
And now it went to like a perfect medium where it was like, okay, you understand your boundaries and like your value. But then now it's like, if they even give you a little ick, you should leave.
Yeah.
That
Like,
was
what's
me.
an ick?
That was me for the longest time. It was job. It was
Red flag.
relationship. As soon as I saw something that like was like a slight red flag, which I didn't even know my values, they weren't defined at that point in a relationship. That's why I kept fucking everything up. Is because I didn't really know what I wanted. I thought I knew what I wanted.
But I feel like that's okay. I feel like even with me, I feel like being the picky is the best part because the person you're trying to settle with, right? So why not be the most picky you can be?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, but you gotta be picky with the right reasons. They have to be attached to your values. Otherwise, it's just like determined. It's not tied to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
You're just being picky to be picky.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just as like valid as like writing off something superficial like the height on your Hinge profile. You know, like it's a line, and you have to figure out where you want to fall on the line. You know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's more like, I don't know, I agree that it's kind of like what maybe is like sort of played off as optimistic in terms of like the traditional value of marriage and everything is also kind of like riding the line of delusion and like masochism almost, just being like, oh well, I signed up for this and I have to stick it out, and like just killing yourself. But it's also like on the other end, like I feel like younger people are like, it's sort of like protecting your peace, where they're like, oh, like I can't let anything like disturb my, you know, like
my bubble.
Literally, and like, but like then there's the other end, which is the traditional of like, I'm gonna kill myself before I get a divorce, you know, like
Yeah,
definitely. Do you think it eventually balances out and it stays like that for a while? You know, as far as we like keep swinging back and forth. Think we ever figure it out?
No.
As humanity, or you
I think
it's
throughout
just
history it's shown that we never figure it out. It just keeps going back and forth.
That's why we always have wars.
We overcorrect.
I feel like the overcorrecting, it's never gonna like, I don't know, it's just gonna keep going all the way to each end. I feel like it's not getting any sort of less. It's still like going to each extreme.
This might be a weird question. Like, okay, more traditional, like, in my way I'm seeing it when I'm hearing it, is like men, okay, what about this? Like when men become have always been like the most like leader of the house, and now it's becoming a lot more equal. Do you think it ever switch to the other side? Where women
like that women's leading the house?
It's happening.
That's kind of what's almost becoming predominant right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You're like
stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, if you think about it realistically, it's really fucking hard to be like a working mom when you're trying to like breastfeed. Like it's a huge struggle. Like there's no privacy, you're stressed, you're required to do all these things and you can't be at home.
Any comment, Jake?
No.
What do you I personally think you should do whatever your heart tells you to do. Like if you're a woman and you want to work and you want to put the baby on formula and that's much easier for your lifestyle, I totally support that.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there is a better way between like all the options though, like for like the outcome of the family and like the kids and happiness overall. I feel like there is a good answer for like personally, of course, like I'm not gonna put down women who want to work, but I do think in the long run, I know in the long run when you're looking back at the scope of your life at the very end, I don't think you're gonna miss the hours you put in at work. You're gonna miss the time you didn't spend with your kids.
That's 100% fucking true.
But I feel like that should be true for either, right? Even the husband, it's like he's gonna miss the hours, so it's like
there is a different bond though I think between mothers and fathers with kids, just because the mother is the one that like physically carries them, is usually the one that nurtures them if they breastfeed. And babies and children have that maternal response to their mothers. Like they seek them out more than they seek out their fathers, just naturally, even if the dads are on most of the time. I think that's just how the dynamics was. Even like back in caveman days, the men would go out and forage and hunt, and the woman would stay back with the kids. Like that's just always how it's been.
Yeah. What do you think?
This is a really weird question. It just kind of off topic, but kind of related. Do you think in
we're gonna come back to you, Jacob, because you have something to say.
And I really want to ask him a question.
Oh, good.
In like just a maybe crazy question is in like lesbian and gay couples, right? Do you think they're in today's generation you need a father figure or a mother figure like in a gay relationship? Do you think
like you're saying, does there need to be certain gender like dynamics that at least one person falls into?
Yeah, so they can see like, do they need that in their relationship to grow up? You think?
I do think they need like a figure of both genders. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the mom, like the parents. Like they need like a strong male figure and a strong female figure. Whether or not that's both the parents.
But can they get that somewhere else?
Yeah, if they could get that somewhere else, that's great. But if you're just stuck with two moms, like there is going to be something lacking just inherently because women will never understand like the things that men go through and experience and vice versa. And so like if you have a son, they're not going to be able to really get the advice that they need if they only have two women to talk to about it. And they can try their best. They can look up, research, whatever, but they're never going to like really empathize with them.
Their perception of their whole world is through their personal experiences, and that's of a female, you know? So, I don't know. I totally agree with that too.
Yeah.
But can the kid turn out fine, you know, if they adopt and they're a gay couple? Yeah. I think so. I think what it really comes down to is if the kid can persevere. And it just comes around, it's just like how they step through life. They can like come out unscathed through a fucked up situation. You hear it all the time. And then, I say this all the time, like people that were like really good parents, did all the right things, and their kids like are drug addicts. It's like, you do all the right things and they still turn out bad, you know? So I think it really comes up to the kid.
You don't have to answer if it's uncomfortable. But did you guys grow up with parents that were together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow up with parents that were together? Same. I did. My parents were divorced, so I didn't grow up with a dad. But I feel like I turned out pretty decently. But I also had like strong male figures in my life.
You had your brother too.
That does not count. He was more of a girl than any of us.
That is true. That's a great point.
Well, yeah, and I feel like now because of that, we do need to specify like a mentor figure. You know?
Well,
yes.
Maybe from both you guys, then we can take what. Do you feel like you lack anything? Not having
Did you have both? Which parents were like? Which parent was around the least? If you're comfortable sharing.
No, yeah. So my mom was pretty much like the only like parental figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least biologically, right?
Yeah.
So dad died before I was born, but growing up though, especially the first like 4 or 5 years, I was raised by my grandparents, right? Mostly,
okay.
My mom was there, but you know she was like 19, 20, you know, working and shit. So, for the most part, like I kind of got that dynamic from my grandma and my grandpa, you know. So I think that like most of the morals and kind of like values and stuff that were instilled in me pretty early on came from them, right? So older I got, I feel like, despite only having like my mom kind of like there, right? I feel like for the most part, like externally, I kind of got by. So, whether it was through like other male figures that like were related to me or not, you know, I think for the most part, I kind of like developed my sense of self and like, how do I say it?
Like your worldview?
Not even like my worldview. Just kind of like I think I got what I needed. Despite maybe not having it directly there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that as if like I know that for a fact, but pretty much I'm like a realist, right?
Yeah.
So knowing what I know about myself and then seeing like other examples of people who were kind of like in the same boat and can obviously like very much see like, oh yeah, like
raised by like you had to figure it out on your own.
Exactly.
Same.
You know
and you built that own confidence within yourself.
Yeah, pretty much, right? So I definitely think that there's an importance in like having like a male figure. Like one of my close homies, I won't name him, right? Pretty much
Drop the name.
It's like shout out.
He had pretty much the complete opposite, right? So he had like not much of a mother figure, right? But he was raised entirely by his dad, right? He turned out pretty well, I would say so, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, I think ideally it's best for a kid to grow up with both parents, right? But if you happen to be missing one, I think you can kind of make up for it just as you go through life, you know?
I 100%.
So.
Yeah. For myself at least, I don't know if I can 100% attribute this to like my daddy issues, if you will, but I noticed like growing up I always like wanted to be around guys. Like I told you, I was a big tomboy. Like I wanted to always like hang out with the guys and like play sports and all the things. I even like dressed like a guy for a little bit in my tomboy era. And then like growing up I always wanted to like impress like guys, not even necessarily in a romantic way, just like always wanted them to be proud of me. And I don't know if that comes from like not having a dad or like what that was, but that's just something I reflect on now. I'm like, because I always like tell people like I don't even have daddy issues and I didn't have a dad, and then I'm like, wait, like sometimes
but did it shape you into a better person because all those?
I don't know, because sometimes like I have like an unhealthy like desire or like unhealthy attachment style sometimes, like especially like when we first started dating, it took me a while to kind of like within myself. Olivia Rodrigo right now is so relevant because I was like, dang, the way she felt like in Maggots for Brains, I was like, that's literally how I felt when he would be like at the fire station. I'm like, I cannot be this way.
Yeah.
Like so dependent and attached. Like, so I think I was able to overcome that on my own, but that could have been because I was missing like some sort of foundation maybe and like a secure or having a secure relationship to look up to.
Yeah, but even if you had like let's say your dad was in that picture and he was like a really good dad, some people like tend to like keep failing in romantic relationships because they're trying to find
someone who is like their dad.
Is like their dad, you know.
But I don't think that's a bad thing. That just means you have high standards.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it
that's
does
true.
exist. Like it does show them that like this is where the standard
That's what you
came
want
for you. Yeah,
that's what you want for your kids. You want them to have high standards.
Yeah, that is true.
So
like you don't want to make yourself a worse dad so that your son or daughter like so their standards are lower.
Like I was just a piece of shit because I really wanted you to have an easy time finding a partner.
Yeah, like,
good luck.
Because I wanted to lower your standards.
Yeah.
I want you to fall in love with the first person you see out the door.
And just accept it.
I don't want you to be single till you're like 45, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck that noise.
I'll be like, you don't want to be like dad. You know?
I did want to ask Jacob a question if you're comfortable answering about Tinder.
Also, wait.
Yeah.
Stop right there. So before you continue, just know that like any question you can possibly think of, just ask me.
You're cool with it?
Yeah.
Cool. Everything's on the table.
Yep.
Regarding Tinder, what would you say like the atmosphere is like? Do you feel like people are on there genuinely seeking connections?
So shit. No.
Well,
yeah, that's an interesting one, right? Because I feel like if you kind of like glance at all like the different apps that there are, you'll kind of like notice like kind of like recurring themes in all of them, right? And it's kind of rooted in like the stereotype that they all have, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Tinder is like pretty much, right?
It used to be. I think it changed personally.
Maybe, right? Not that I would know now. So that's kind of, I would say, very much like present, right? So Tinder's like just like quick, right? Hinge seems more like a little more like
serious,
realistic,
yeah.
But at least for me though, I was on Tinder. Well, I mean, come on, dude, like so with absolutely no intentions of longevity. So,
Fair.
Matter of fact, well, the first time that I ever hopped on it,
You were hooked?
No, really not. If anything, I had like pretty low standards going into it, but it was like in like a weird, like gray time in like the relationship that I was in, right? So
How did it affect your time on Grindr though?
It's like I don't know. I'm not as active.
I really gotta think about that one.
Gotta think about it, but more curious as to why Rob's asking me because he's got the premium membership.
Nice.
Thanks for the login, by the way.
While we're talking about dating, do you guys, if you want to share, have any like? Because I didn't really get a chance today. I was with a person right out of high school, and I was with them until I met him. Basically, I only had like a person in between him. Have you ever had a horrible date or experience dating? Or a story?
Like experience dating or in a relationship? Like
either like
experience
a bad
dating,
date you went on, or like a bad relationship, something like that.
Yeah, I would say I'm on the same way as you. Like I've only had the first girlfriend I was with, and then I met her right after. Like
yeah, so I was like, I don't really know what dating is like. To be honest,
I've never been. Yeah,
Me
either
too.
way.
I've never been on a dating app because of that same pretty much thing,
Oh, that's crazy. What about you?
So that leaves two.
You don't have to drop me.
Please, Eddie.
Huh?
I was girl crazy for a long time. I was a feral
What does
kid.
that mean? Like,
yeah, what does that mean?
Girl crazy, like that's all I thought about.
Okay,
Everything that I did as a kid had to end up with
As a kid, like
hanging
high
out with
school?
girls.
Or like
No.
as young as like elementary school, middle
As
school?
young as elementary school.
Oh, wow.
Up until high school, junior, senior year. College, I kind of chilled out. Ironically,
Right?
He got his Playboy era out when he was in like 5th grade.
Yeah, 100%.
Middle school.
Yeah. So, what's the question? Like,
just like any crazy dating experience or story?
No, like it was all like. I mean, yeah. When you date a lot of people, you're gonna run into the probability of running into crazy scenarios is.
Well, yeah, like share a story if you have one.
I mean, okay, when I was in college.
Obviously, don't share names.
I won't share names. We were drinking at a bar. Me and my friend met these girls that were roommates. We started dating them for like a month, but I stopped dating this girl, and my roommate continued dating this girl because he kind of like felt bad for her. She like always had problems, and he felt like he had to fix her problems. And then I got looped into it because I'm like, she seems like a genuine person and like kind of needs help. She's in college, away from her family. Turns out, I hope she doesn't watch it. I won't say any names.
Lord.
This is a crazy fucking story.
Hey, it happens. It's not like you're.
I know, but
sharing.
it's.
Nobody knows who
What
it
happened?
is.
Tell us.
Anyway, long story short, she had all these issues, and my friend would always go to her rescue. But when he got there, it was always alleviated. But she was still like, grieving over this problem that happened. This said problem.
Like emotional over it.
Yeah. And then I started to question it. I'm like, how do you always go to these situations, but you can never resolve it because the person that she's accusing that caused this problem is not there. And so I started like having like a red flag. Talked to a mutual friend.
what was the problem though? Like,
Huh? So it'd be like an ex that maybe like kept like coming up to her and like stalking her and to that extent.
yeah.
and then the stories just got way out of hand. Like maybe
like assault.
Like assault. Like maybe we got stabbed.
Yeah.
And yeah, we
But
looked.
she was from out of state though?
Yeah, she was out of state.
And this ex was in Arizona.
I think he was in like Arizona, and like it was restraining order. Then we started like look things up. Me and another friend.
Yeah.
To make sure, like, hey, like, are you just getting like dragged along for this like girl that might be just like needing like you?
No.
And we called the hospital.
Yeah.
And yeah, none of it
Oh
was
my.
True.
Her dad didn't even have cancer.
Yeah.
No.
So,
No, the funny thing is he got on video of them confronting her, and he played it for me one time. And I was
Well,
like,
the clip will be below. Or
No.
show the clip right here.
No, you're saying I've done fucked up
You guys
things
know
in
what
my
Patreon
life.
is? It's like the it'll be on the Patreon.
It'll be behind our paywall. No, I mean that is a messed up thing to do. So like, it's not.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was true. But when I verified the things that this person was saying, none of it.
I don't know.
lined
I
up.
feel like if you
You're sure
lie
about
about
that,
stuff
though,
like
like-
that,
I'm
yeah.
like, dude, yeah. I like called the hospital. We checked like the police report,
Oh,
like the
wow.
calls, because we had to get to the point because we were getting like our life was getting taken over by this situation,
Wow, that's crazy.
and we're like, nah. And I was like, at some point we have to fucking cut ties so our life doesn't get ruined.
yeah.
Over someone that you're not even in a relationship
Yeah,
with.
I was already
Doesn't
out of
even-
this. Like, but I'm like here buying this girl chocolate milk because she likes chocolate milk, stocking the fridge
Oh,
with that.
Lord.
Because I'm like, fuck, she just needs to stay here.
That's so funny because that wasn't even about your dating experience. It was just this girl that you met through a friend.
Yeah, it was fucked up. But anyway,
Like, he's giving us an example of the crazy people you can run into.
That's true.
If you date.
You picked the wrong people to date.
Yeah.
I think where I stand though, I always said like, you know, people that wait until marriage to like have sex. Sorry, this is like way far, but like,
Left.
I think you should like discover yourself with people and see like what you do and don't like. I
So
think
you're against abstaining till marriage. Is what you're
I
saying.
definitely am.
So you say you like to fuck.
Hey,
I
Sex in the
think
City. Remember the episode we just watched? When she's like, you need to find out.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, do you guys watch Sex in the City?
No.
No.
I got really into Sex in the City. I'd never watched it before, but I
Sex
got
in the City or Sex and the City.
in
Sex and the City.
and this is
Have you
Sex
heard of
and
Mandela
the-
effect? Mandela effect?
Yeah,
Okay,
I know
okay.
it is. I know. I thought it was Sex in the City until like the other day. I was like, it's Sex and the City. Anyways, Sex in the City. I'd gotten it recommended to me by a lot of people, so I started watching. I'm on like season 4 now, which is like this is probably the fastest I've ever watched a show. I never watched
What,
it
That was
so
a
fast.
movie.
That's a show.
Oh, they have movies of it, but they made the movies like after the show.
Oh, I'm
Um,
out of loop.
but one of the main girls is getting married and she's waiting to sleep with her fiance until they get married, even though she's not a virgin, but she's like just waiting to sleep specifically with her fiance so she can like, I don't know. But the girls were all like, no, you have to find out, like, what if you marry this guy, then you're locked in and the sex is really bad. And they lock in and he can't get it up ever, like.
Cystic
and then-
Viagra? Or
No, he won't. He's like, he won't even talk about it. Like, he's too like weird about it. And he's like, I guess I'm just not that sexual person. I don't want blah blah blah. So like, they're right now. I'm at the point, and they're spoiler for Sex and the City. Sorry, but they're separated. But he wants to work it out. But now he only is able to sleep with her because they're separated, and now she's like unattainable. And so like, basically, marriage turns him off. And so.
That's so
Damn.
crazy.
That's a perfect example. Thank you for
Yeah. I mean, the one episode of Sex and the City we watched, I guess he retained.
The only one episode.
He retained the information.
Yeah.
He learned a lesson. See.
That's
What do you think,
crazy.
Jacob? Do you think you should wait for marriage, or do you think you should like test the waters and see if you have chemistry?
I think Eve bit the apple, and here we are.
Yeah, just saying all
It's not
that.
even worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and fucking tell you, oh yeah, just wait until fucking marriage, right? But there's definitely like some value in that, obviously. And the older I get, like the more I kind of start to realize, like, okay, like maybe that's how it like
Supposed to.
Maybe
really
it was
should
that way
be.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Why?
Which is obvious. Why?
Why?
Well, you got to think, right? Like, I mean, okay, so somebody's born, right? They get old enough, they go through puberty, right? The more sex that they have, right? Let's say like this person has like, 100 partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the time that they, quote unquote, like settle down, if they do, right, with this one person, right? I mean, you got to think about it like sex is going to be like very
Bored.
What's that word I'm looking for?
Mundane.
No, yeah, just like
Ordinary.
Meaningless.
not just along those lines, right? Like like
Okay.
it's just a lot less valuable, right? Rather than like
It's just a
let's
thing
say-
that they do.
I
Doesn't
guess
really hold
I mean
weight.
it could be, right? Whereas like let's say if you have two people who like legitimately wait till marriage, right? And then they do, right? Sex is like a lot more I mean, it sounds corny, right? But you know, like sacred, right? Like
You would think.
yeah, just more you would think, right? Or yeah, just like valued more. I think so, right?
Yeah.
And you got to think like the point of sex is to reproduce, right?
Right.
Anything other than that is kind of, I mean, not to
Well,
get
I would say the
religious,
outcome
right,
of
but
sex is to reproduce. I wouldn't say the point.
No,
No,
the
it's-
point of sex is to reproduce.
Even
so.
even in most religion, once you're married, it's for pleasure as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like biblically,
Yeah.
it's also for pleasure.
You-
You're meant to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, I
gotta
think
pull that
I,
out,
th- I think
right?
I think he is right. I think biblically the functionality of sex is for reproduction, but a byproduct of that is pleasure. Like,
But that was intentional, right? It wasn't like
what do you mean?
just
like,
a coincidence that it's pleasurable.
oh no, it's definitely supposed to be both. But like the goal of having sex is supposed to try to reproduce. That's
But
like
every
what
time,
the parts
like-
are for.
But
yeah.
you don't have your partner.
Well, no,
like,
you can't reproduce every single time you have sex. It's just like not how the bodies work. But like your goal is to attempt sex with the outcome of eventually trying to have a kid.
so, in God's eyes,
Like in
are
God's
you-
eyes, every time you have sex, your goal should be like, I hope this time we get pregnant. Like, or that should be in your mind.
is
But
that a
if
sin
you're-
at that point then?
But if you
Isn't
Like, already
isn't the whole thing
pregnant
about like isn't that
like, you know, like, well,
truly-
if
isn't that
you've
like
already had enough kids, are you just supposed to keep having kids
That's a
until?
Oh
great
yeah, I
point.
don't think like well now with birth control it's a little bit different.
Right.
Like I obviously like us in the modern times we're not having sex every time with the thought of like to make baby. But like this is what the body was made for is what I'm saying. But that's not how
It
we
is-
Well,
Is it-
biologically, I agree. Like biologically,
Biologically,
biologically
yes.
is what I'm saying. Like, that's
Biologically,
how the
yes.
body
But you
parts
said
are functioning.
biblically.
but biblically,
Biblically,
doesn't it say
too.
like it's like anytime you're
fruitful and multiply.
like self pleasuring is a sin? Like self
Masturbation is a sin. in
but like
the
any
Bible.
like
But that's not
any like
self-pleasuring. That's considered sexual immorality. But sex within a marriage isn't considered sexual immorality, even if you're deriving pleasure from it.
Yeah, you should have a pleasurable, and even talks in the Bible of having a pleasurable sexual experience with your partner. But God does talk about being fruitful and multiplying the earth. Like that's the whole like what God preaches for us to do is to like bear children.
Yeah, but at what point do you like I've had 12 kids, I don't want any more. Do you stop having sex?
I don't think it's a sin to stop having kids, but I think that's just the nature of like why
no.
sex was
Is
made.
it a sin to stop at 12 because that's all you can sustain, and then continue having sex because you
Yeah,
have a wife?
it's not a sin for you within the confines of marriage to just have sex without making a baby. Like
It's not.
that should be the goal of the humanity is just to reproduce, but it's not a sin not to. Does that make sense?
Is that right? Can you have sex with your partner without the intention to have a
Yes.
baby and not be a sin?
Well, that I don't know, but you kind of have to think about it this way, right? Like the point of sex is to once again reproduce, right? Like biologically and religiously, right? I mean, for the most part, right? But if everybody, let's say like everybody just was married, right? And they said, okay, like we're married now, like we can just fuck for fun, right? Let's say if everybody just said, well, I don't want to have kids, but I want to fuck for fun, right? Eventually we'd all be wiped out, right? So
Right.
Well, that's
But
actually
there's
like
a-
becoming a problem. I think we're having like a population decline because this generation
Doesn't want to have kids.
doesn't want to
Well,
have kids as much.
We're all
yeah, but it's not like
Individualistic.
and
yeah.
we're all infertile because of microplastics.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So,
Yeah, right. So pretty much so. I mean that's like a whole other
Yeah.
rabbit hole right there, right?
Yeah.
But what you just said
this
though is
place
like
is
definitely,
for.
that's what I'm saying. It's like,
definitely. I think the world now is the way it is intentionally, right? Like, appreciate it.
By grand design or just by
Yeah.
byproduct?
Both, right?
Yeah, it's all everything everywhere all at once.
would say-
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
It's
Pretty much. I think that what she just said, right? Like nobody is like really like fucking to like reproduce and shit, right? I mean, even the people that do want to, right? Unfortunately, sometimes can't, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
Obviously, especially let's say you're living in America, right? You got bills to pay. You need a house, right? Mortgage, this and that. You got a job, right? So there's this whole kind of like system that is like in play, right? And most people in this country, especially, are like in it, right?
unaware.
Really don't want to say like the rat race, but
It is the rat
very
race.
much so. Yeah.
The rat
We
race.
The rat
created
race,
workers
right?
to sustain a society.
Well,
I mean,
Sure,
that's what I would do as a
sure,
government.
right. But it seems like everybody like in that bracket, we'll call it the middle class, is kind of just like left to just like figure it out, right? Like, okay, like it's not like back then, like, okay, fucking wake up, build house, smash wife, produce, right? Go out, hunt, right? Forage, whatever the fuck. It's very civilized now, right? So the way that it's structured, I'm not gonna say that it was like that. It's not like, how do I say it? I won't say it's bad, but there's definitely to some extent some influence that is like negative or for somebody else's greed that's like playing into it, right?
100%.
So like kind of like what we said earlier, right? The whole like women like coming to work thing, right? Like this and that. Now this is gonna sound like every other fucking podcast now, right? But
No, go ahead. We're gonna get to AI, and then it will sound like everybody.
pretty much so, dude. So I think there's no really way around it. I think you kind of just have to see and recognize that, okay, like back in the day, it was just like the man supporting the family, right?
Right.
Woman stays home, you know, make dinner, this and that. You don't get slapped, right? This and that. Just kidding, right? But pretty much, or like the family dynamic, right, was always like male, right, head of the household, right? Now, biologically, right, even, I think that's for a good reason, right? I think we developed that way, right?
I think it's ingrained in us.
Exactly, right? For whatever reason, right? I'm not here to argue with fucking nature, right?
Yeah, me neither.
Or God, right? So that's just kind of how it's always been, right? I'll say that. Now, whether or not I think that's how it should be, I mean, yes, I do, right? But I'm not gonna like shun, you know, people who are saying, oh, well, like maybe it can be, you know, like maybe my mom can be like, you know, just as strong as my dad, right? Like
my dad can stay at home.
Yeah, right, exactly. So you definitely don't want like a Johnny Test type of vibe like going on, right?
Johnny Test.
I think so, right?
Fuck.
Yeah.
I
right.
forgot about Johnny
Yeah.
Test. Are we talking about
Exactly.
the same thing, the cartoon with the fucking...
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Boing, yeah, Bling Boy. Yeah.
Fuck.
Exactly,
What was the
right.
dynamic? I forgot completely.
Well, okay, so regarding this, right, the mom was like the fucking go-getter, hustler, fucking CEO shit, and the dad was like at home fucking washing dishes.
Oh,
really?
yeah, the mom was a
Yes,
scientist,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
The mom
Well, no.
Oh,
The
wait.
two sisters were
Oh, right.
scientists,
I'm
but
misremembering that.
the mom was just like a typical like businesswoman, right? Or some shit like that, right? Point is though, right? I think sometime last century, right, the whole like norm of like, you know, women like joining the workforce and stuff like this and that.
Got their rights.
Yeah,
Got
right.
things
That
up.
all. Well, okay. So
Right.
yeah, right. I'm not gonna say that, but like
Let's turn it to
there
Alphabet
was
podcast
definitely
real quick.
okay. Like I mean, I can't prove shit, right? But I think if you just look at like history on a spectrum and just how things used to be and how we used to be, right, as a whole, kind of changed very suddenly, right? And whether you kind of like want to admit it or not, it just so happens to benefit people, right, that aren't most people. So kind of like the
The
needs
1%.
of sure, right? And obviously, I mean, if you look at it now, like that's exactly how it is, right? Like it's no conspiracy, no weird shit, right? Like it's just like okay, like in America, right? Oh, I'll just keep it like simple, right? You've got the people that run shit, right? And then you have, you know, well, everyone else, right?
Just call them what you want.
Sure, right? Exactly. But like, I don't even want to say that, right? Because not everybody like being enslaved is a mindset, right?
Can I say one thing?
Yes. Yeah.
I've heard this one time, and I can't unsee that, or I can't unthink it any other way.
Yeah.
Is that like we are the rich people's employees? Like we basically just we basically just work for them.
Yes.
And like whatever they want, we do.
Yeah.
Even if we're not really doing
Pretty
it like
much.
directly for them, indirectly, it's all for them.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you're
They-
not.
They kind of worked for it, so I don't know.
They did work for it, right? They
a lot
did
of
work for it.
people,
No.
yeah.
Okay, so look, I'll say
It's a great
this, right? So
we should bring
look,
that up, that conversation.
Yeah, me and Lydia kind of left
Oh, did you guys talk about this?
At
At
work.
work. Well,
At
Robert-
work,
I brought it
Robert
up.
was
I brought it up to
asking.
everyone. I'm the big like pot stirrer at work.
Oh,
I'm like,
throw out like a hot topic.
I was pulling
Yeah.
Lydia to a table while she's like getting drinks. I'm like,
No,
wait, I
and
got
we're
one
like
more-
still talking about it, mind you, and like literally we don't stop talking until I'm like, all right, here's your water,
I had the
here's
same
your
thing.
He's just
lemon.
back there like.
Yeah,
I asked
literally.
About, the big question was, do
Waiting
you
behind
think
me.
that was the people that make the most, should they be taxed more?
Oh,
All right.
talk about-
I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut you off right there, right? Anybody that thinks that, fuck you. Right? Just okay.
Oh.
You know how
So,
she feels about this.
Everybody
Oh,
that
wait, what was your
no,
opinion
'cause-
on this?
Yes, I think they should be.
You think they should?
taxed
And
more.
yours was they should not? And yours is what?
I think there's a happy
He's
medium.
the Irish woman.
I'm a very influenced. I don't know if I don't know enough information on the topic, but when my mind tells me just from the get-go, I work this hard, so why should I be punished more?
Yeah. I think they should be taxed at the same percentage as everybody else, like within the same ratio. So like if I'm being taxed 10%, they also need to be taxed 10%, and their 10% is more than obviously mine, but it equals out to the same.
So and
that's how it works right now.
And then
right?
on this side of the table, we believe that they should be taxed more percentage.
He means this corner of the table.
It's
Don't
really
even think
Lydia.
about including Jacob in that hill. What did you say? If you think that fuck you.
Yeah.
Why say fuck me?
One thing for your consideration, I made that mistake before, to have a hard opinion in something, because this one specifically is very complex.
Like nuanced?
Very nuanced. Like, it depends on what angle you look at it from, but I would love to hear your opinions.
What do you mean by that?
So, like
to be so
I've known people that are like very like, this is the fucking way it is on a very like controversial topic, and I just think it's not a very good place to be, because it puts you in a corner, and then all you are is defending, and you're married to this idea that is so beyond complexity that I don't know if you'll ever figure out what the right thing is, because there isn't a right or wrong. Right. It's very gray. You can have values that
you think there's a gray space in this? Or
I know I haven't researched it enough. I've talked about like several times, but I don't.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Exactly.
Like I have an opinion based on some, I guess, like knowledge, more so like life experience, not even really knowledge, but like based on primarily an opinion, and I agree that it's very nuanced, and I think it's a gray area, and I think that I'm not operating under the delusion that I couldn't be persuaded the other way, you know?
That's perfect.
And because he thinks they shouldn't, but why do you think they should be? Let's just start there. Why do you think if I make more money, I deserve to pay more?
Yeah, just on your whatever experience you have, why do you think
for fear of sounding socialist, I
shoot for the head.
just
Sorry, she
don't.
shows a lot.
I just don't think they. I feel like what you're saying is that like they earned it, and I feel like a lot of the time they didn't earn it, and I feel like they should be giving back more than what their percentage is, and I think, but once you get to that point where you have that much money, you're not the type of person that's going to give back what you should, and so.
That is tough though, because like I would say there was a good chunk of like, if we're talking like the 1%, the billionaires, there's a good chunk of them that like are not good people, and that maybe didn't necessarily make it on their own. But there are some of them that have done like all the work, and they have put in the effort. So how do we delineate between the two? Like, how do we force the ones who didn't, let's say, come up? You really can't. So it's like, how do we make it equal across the board? That's fair for everybody, but also not like fucking people who actually put the work in out of like what hard-earned money, but also like not allowing the rich people to monopolize and keep all the wealth to themselves.
I saw a post that was like the people that have like those like accumulate, like they're multi-billionaires. They don't get there by unless they morally cross someone or do something
And I
wrong.
believe that. I truly believe that. There is a certain point when you get to a certain wealth status, like I don't think you can surpass it unless you're doing like down low shit.
Yeah.
Whether that's child sacrifice or we're not going to talk about
Yeah.
We can get into specifics. Elon Musk is a good example.
First trillionaire.
So I mean, he's first trillionaire. And
what a week.
In my eyes, so far, his track record, calling his shot, and what he's doing for humanity has been good this far. You guys can call me out at any points, but
what leads you to believe that?
That like he's really trying
him to believe that.
Yeah.
Like all the things that he's done to
like with SpaceX. And, like,
well, I'm asking like what things that he's done. I haven't really I'm not really all I know is that he owns X and that he owns SpaceX.
Yeah, I think he is for the people. I feel that way. I haven't studied his whole life, but I think what I've seen, I think he has good intentions. And I think at any level of fame and richness, you're going to be shunned by a lot of people because they wish they were in a spot or think that you don't deserve it and someone else does, but they don't know who.
I feel like the main reason the hate comes from Elon is because he supports Donald Trump.
Yeah, I wonder how people would feel about it if he didn't support
he was
him.
That's why I'm wondering.
Yeah, he was left before that, and I don't know. I feel like I do think a lot of people had less negative opinions about him before he.
Because when Tesla first came out, everyone's like, "Oh, look at new electric vehicles." Yeah. And then when Trump and they found out he was an supporter of Trump, I feel like.
Well, it wasn't that they found out that he became a supporter of Trump.
Like
he was
vocal about it.
But I do feel like I don't know. I feel like that personally gave me a
negative view of
a
him.
negative view of him because he was able to so quickly switch his views. You know, it's like,
There must be
does he
something
really
up.
believe the things he's saying? You know,
The society switched their views like that.
about what?
Well,
Like,
a lot of
from-
it actually.
Yeah, they switched sides completely on the other end.
Well, I think a lot of that happened during COVID and like the BLM stuff. Like a lot
100%.
of people switched. Like I think just politics in general just completely tilted and like everything got a little bit crazy.
Yeah, everyone's confused.
And then a lot of people stopped associating with one side, started associating with another, stopped being in politics altogether. Like
I think it was
Yeah.
needed.
that kind of was, I think, the start of it, and that's right when Trump was like coming on the scene. So
Yeah. Not to derail this conversation. So we were saying, you don't think they should get taxed whatsoever,
Kind of like what
or
You don't think they should be taxed
Tatiana
more
was saying,
whatsoever?
right?
more? Sorry.
I think in a perfect world, right, like everybody, no matter who you are, should put out proportionally equally, no matter what, right? Like just because somebody has more than you, like that they have to pay proportionally more, like everybody's got, like an obligation being a citizen here, right? But I think like the great thing about this country is that like you don't have to be morally obligated to do anything, right? Now I personally think that people are, right? Especially males, but to just say like, oh my gosh, like that guy has $1 billion, right? Which obviously, most billionaires and shit like don't even
Actually
have
have it in cash.
liquid, right?
Yeah.
They have a fuck ton of money, right?
Right.
Obviously they're worth right a lot more than we are, but it's like. Yeah, a lot of people are fucking dumb, especially the middle class. So it's kind of like whenever I hear people saying like, oh, like tax them more, right? Like tax NFL stars more, right? Tax artists more, right? This and that. It's like, dude, like, okay, you're not understanding that despite what you may believe, like whether they got a lucky hand in life or not, like they worked for what they have, right? Whether they got it easier than somebody else or whatnot, like they have what they have because
They worked for it.
right? And even if that's not the case, like they still have it, right? That's theirs, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, you got a fucking shit hand.
Yeah,
but
they got lucky. Either way.
exactly, right? So anytime I hear people like, and it's always like females, right? That like I hear saying that shit. No offense, right? But only makes sense, right? Because like
all
females are
offense.
Yeah. No offense, just
Just right to you.
right.
right. Anyways, but no,
No
so
offense, just like
it makes sense,
female-
right? Because
females.
obviously, like females are just by nature just a lot more like nurturing, caring,
And I think it's
emotionally-
hard with like the whole narrative, like the patriarchy being like pushed out right now. A lot of women just have a negative view. Like majority women, I think now have a negative view of men overall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So wouldn't like
No, wait. Stop. Sorry. But pause that main convo, right? Side convo. Yeah. Why do you think that is, though? Like,
But patriarchy?
yeah.
It's because it's been pushed like since radical feminism came about in like the early 2000s, and
Yeah.
it gained a lot of traction, especially with like a bunch of the other social injustices got lumped together, like LGBT, Black Lives Matter, and then feminism kind of all got lumped together on like as the left identity. They
Okay.
kind of just grew in numbers, and then like they adopted this mentality of like, if you're going to be a part of us, you have to also adopt all of this. So now all the gay people are feminists, all the black people are feminists, and with that mentality just came the proponent.
Fucking nailed it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And now that with the growing numbers of feminism, like a large majority of the population holds the belief that the patriarchy is, in existence and that they're controlling the world. Which, like, with everything that's come out politically, I might a little bit believe that,
Yeah,
but not to the
no,
extent of it. Like, not to the extent of it being like male gender. It's just bad men. It's not like men as a population. There's just like bad people who happen to also be men
Well, they
that
were
are
predominantly in power for the longest time.
Yeah, and like
Right.
this is
So
how
it
our
just makes
country was.
sense.
It's like they got a leg up in the beginning, so it's like that's just how
Right.
our country was run. And also, men are just more likely to be in those positions of like women aren't wanting to be in positions of government. That's not like what we naturally like lean toward with our nature. So like you're just not going to find a lot of women in politics, and like you're not going to find a lot of women in the military. Like that's just naturally how it is. But because of that, those spaces happen to be the spaces where people are able to be elevated to a level where they have control. And then that just puts men at the top, unfortunately. And then unfortunately, it just also happens to be bad men. So, but yeah.
Well,
All
do
that
you
to
feel
say.
like the men have been in positions to rise to power? Like, do you say that men are more inclined to be in politics? Do you think that's like a nature thing or a nurture thing?
I think it's
feel
a
like
nature
that's kind of
thing.
the point.
I think for sure a nature thing. I think even if we were to start a society like Lord of the Flies, I know it's a fictional book, but it's a great kind of like, if you were to get like a blank slate society, I know there's no women in the Lord of the Flies, but I think just society developing on its own, I think men just innately, whether it's like their hormones or something, they just have more leadership tendencies than women do. So I think they're going to step up to those roles naturally. And with leadership comes like, you know, creating the government, creating society, or the framework of how you're going to live. So I think in that way, I think it is a little bit more nature.
So if there were women in Lord of the Flies, the example you're giving, how would they play into this building society?
They would definitely be. I just like with the nature of women. I think they're just. What were you gonna say?
Sorry. No.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a really fucked situation for a woman. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, don't even want to know if there were women on that island. But I think they would have just been like the peacekeepers, caretakers, like just what we do like naturally. It's like in our DNA.
Do you agree with that?
Well,
As a woman?
No, I don't know. I guess from my personal experience, and I think I definitely like. I don't know. I feel like more of the way that, because I do think it's more of a nurture thing than a nature thing, and I think because of the way that I've grown up, I'm sort of the mindset that like it is a nurture thing as opposed to a nature thing in terms of like what women are naturally inclined to do. Because as someone who was raised in a way where I don't necessarily think that men are superior, I think they've just been been like encouraged to do the things that women are encouraged to do, whereas they're encouraged to do different things, and so. I personally feel inclined, like, even to the point of, like, the conversation we were talking about earlier where it's, like, I would never not want to work. I would never, like, and that's just me, and, like, I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's just as natural for me to say that I would rather work than be a stay-at-home mom, and I would genuinely rather have my husband stay home with the kids than not work. I feel like it's just as natural for it to be the other way, but I do think, like, it's, I don't know, I feel like it's possible for, and like you guys were saying earlier, how you feel like it could go the other way, where it's like we will get to a point where because of this misandry, because of this like hating men thing, like there will be a point where it will go to the other extreme, and it will be women are the ones running everything. And because of that, wouldn't that make you think that it is a nurture thing, if that's even possible? If it would be going against nature, then how would it even get to that extreme, you know?
Think about going against nature. If you think about, and this is again not necessarily my opinion, but if you think about like sexuality, like technically people who are homosexual are going against nature in the way that like our bodies were created. But that doesn't necessarily mean that even though they're going against nature, that's a nurture or a nurture thing. Like, so for example, with women in the workforce, I think like there's a big issue, and I just lost my train of thought. I was literally going to make a point. I was thinking about something else, but I'll come back to it if I think about it. But yeah, I know these
this
two
might be like a irrelevant question towards it, but that's what I'm thinking. Do you think as women, like in most movies, TV shows, you see it in history, they're like, the men stay back, save the women and the children. Do you think as women, if you guys could come to that role, like it would be like save the men and children and leave the women?
Fuck no.
Well, anybody could, right?
But dude, that's what I'm saying. Is that why men are the leaders? Because we naturally are like, take care of these people compared to the ways of the roles. Like, how come it's not flipped?
Or could it be flipped?
Yeah, could it be flipped?
Well, I think that actually brought back my thought. So when you were talking about how like you would prefer to work like if you could choose, right? I think it's not an issue of like men being superior to women, because I don't think that's true at all. I think men and women are equal because we have different strengths,
right?
And because of that, like men can never be better than women, and women can never be better than men because they're missing something.
Yeah,
right.
Most definitely.
And like, yes, it's awesome that we get the opportunity to choose to work, but I think it's very apparent in this society, women get to choose to work, right? Look at the jobs that women are choosing, right? We could choose to be in the military. We could choose to do oil rig jobs, but we don't. And there's a reason for that.
You don't have kids when you're in the military.
Well, like, even if you don't have kids, if you're just a woman, like, in the career force, look at the jobs that women, single, unmarried, women with no children are picking. They're not picking these extreme, like, politician jobs or, like, these other jobs, even though we have the option now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, most definitely. Men control most of the workforce. The heavy-duty workforce job, it's mostly men, no?
Yeah.
But is that still like
referring to the whole like
a nurture and nature?
Yeah,
right?
what I'm saying is that still just a byproduct of the way that
could be like
things have always been.
Maybe like in 100 years we might see women doing more of that stuff. But like, how long would you say have women had the opportunity to pick whatever job they want? How long would we say that has been?
Ooh,
less than 100 years.
Yeah, less than 100
Less than 100.
years.
I would say even like, what year is it?
26.
I would say even like as short as 50.
Like to really have whatever job we really want?
Yeah.
I would agree with that, yeah.
So do you think there's like a certain
they're just catching up
amount of time?
Yeah, a certain amount of time. It just takes for them.
I'm sorry. Who got rights first? So black people or women? Like
black people.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Black men and then women. Yeah.
So
Wondering?
I think
wondering, yeah.
I think with time, eventually there gets to a point where there's like not an even amount, but there becomes a substantial amount than there is right now. It just takes some time to catch up. But I think you'll start to realize that it will come back to what you're saying is that like maybe
we'll see the truth of like do women really
do
want
they
these
really want this, or
jobs?
was this what they were told as a young child and like whatever reason they had this like I can be what they are, I can be as strong as they are, which is great ambition. They should do that. You can find out what they're made of, but do they really want that for their life? And like I don't think people really think about like they don't do things that's the truest to their
Like what they
Desires,
desire and
yeah.
want.
yeah, exactly.
They do what they think they're supposed to.
Yeah, they don't really think for themselves, even though they think they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're kind of generalizing the like
I mean-
that's like way to me. I think that's like way too broad up like an assumption to like.
Well,
What did I go back on my part that I was saying like would a woman if she wasn't told to be like take the men?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we won't really know, I guess.
Yeah.
Like until it gets to that point.
Where it's like people have been told for long enough that there's almost like such
like
little
programmed.
remnant. Yeah, there's such a little remnant of what we were programmed to think or what we were conditioned to think, and it will be however long until we truly know whether or not like women really do want to be in the workforce or women really are just like if like it could even be to the point where it's like well
They just
like
wanna do
is
it
it out of spite
because
is it out
because they
of
told her they can't.
is it
that
out
what?
of desire
Yeah.
is it out of tradition
Well,
what
that's
is it
how
out
the
of
fuck we
you know
got here. So I mean,
Well, okay. Well, this is another good example. Think of like third world communities that still exist, like tribes. They function very much how we function, where the men are doing all the work and the women are not. They don't have the media and the propaganda that we do, like being in the social media. But that's just how they choose to live.
Well, I feel like the strongest thing there, though, and I feel like that's even stronger because the media now is telling us that like women can do anything men can do, and women
Yeah.
should do everything that men do. Whereas there, it's like, whereas I feel like what's tying us down to the traditional sort of dynamic is tradition and is word of mouth and is relationally almost, and so I feel like it would obviously be more prominent there because like the one person with a thought that like, hey, I kind of want to perform the male role as a
Well,
woman.
would you say then a
isn't
man
getting the traction that it would if
can-
there was media, you know?
a man can like for example you're saying that a woman can always do what a man can do, which I agree with, right? Anybody can do anything. But do you think
Yes.
a man can take care of a child as good as a woman could?
No. By himself? In certain ways, but like
Like the whole nurture part of it, right?
no, he's missing something.
Well,
Fundamentally, I
Well,
think.
physically, but it's like, but if he's missing something, then that's the same as like,
The
if a
woman's-
woman was raising a child by herself, then she couldn't raise it as well as she was with a man. So like, obviously they would ideally raise it together, but
I go back to what Jacob said. I was raised by my grandparents too, and my mom was in the picture, but she was in and out of it. And I had to figure out a lot of things for myself, and I didn't grow up with siblings, so I was very much like trial and error and figuring out things the hard way. And I think it gave me a sense of confidence that really got me through life because I didn't have anyone to really depend on. And I think in any situation, this is why nothing matters really, because it doesn't matter if you grew up with a single dad or a single mom. It matters on just like
Your mental fortitude.
your mental fortitude, the experiences that you have, what you do in those hardest moments, and how you perceive them and how you react to it. And if you're able to compound that over time and get stronger, I think you'll be just fine. But if we're just generalizing, if it was just a man raising a child, I think overall, I don't fucking know.
I agree. I think it would be like, it would depend on the child, you know? Like, it would depend on the child. It would depend on, like, what, like, are you saying,
Because
like,
you're telling me
could,
that,
like, a
but
rich
then you're
man?
contradicting what a woman could do. Then why couldn't a man do it?
Well,
then?
I'll say this. Okay, for example, when our son was born, whenever he would cry, I had like a physical reaction to him crying and would wake up, and he sometimes would sleep through it. So like, whether that's just me like having just a better like hearing ability, I don't know.
I feel like it could also be, like, just your, like, general, like, personality type or even, like, emotionally regulation type. Like, my
100%.
mom
But was she the?
my mom was very like literally like would coddle us if we didn't stop crying. Like
Yeah.
she just had such a like intense emotional reaction to like children crying. She just didn't want like them to be in that state. And
Yeah.
so but I feel like that was more of a personality thing, and I also know other women who are very good about like who genuinely it does not bother them to let their child cry.
Yeah,
because
that's
they know
true.
that they're gonna self-soothe, and crying means they're breathing and like whatever they have to tell themselves. But
I agree.
I think it's sort of a
More
personality
personality
trait.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is, like, I've talked to a lot of mothers, and this is, like, also something that, you know, when I was going through early motherhood, when I would do, like, research on certain things, like, Reddit community is obviously not the best place to get, like, confirm your beliefs on anything, but there was a lot of, like, mom pages, and a lot of them had, like, similar experiences of, like, feeling that connection to the baby that maybe dads don't have, and a lot of them also, like, would tell stories about how they felt like an initial like connection to the baby, and it takes the father a little bit to like feel that same like parental feeling. So I don't know what that comes from.
I think it's confirmation bias. I think that's in disguise all the time, working in the background.
What do you mean?
Like you're kind of searching for what you want to hear.
Well, no, it's just like a parents Reddit, like for anyone who's like a parent to like just ask for advice, share things that they've learned.
But there's a bunch of different opinions, right? And then you're really taking the time to resonate with the
ones
that,
I was reading through them, and a lot of them have the same sentiment of like feeling like it takes the dad usually a little bit longer to feel that like paternal feeling toward a newborn.
And paternal, and like I have to care for this
baby.
baby.
Where you feel the instinct of like, oh, this is my child, and I like love
like the attachment.
Yes, but like this is my responsibility.
Mine did come later for sure.
Yeah. And that's
it might came later for sure. What she's saying is like how I felt,
and that's how it was for like
I don't know
like Tegan's dad, and like you know a lot of people I've talked to. It takes a little bit of time, so I feel like there is something, I can't explain what it is, but there is something that a mother has with the baby, and I think just maybe because they're a part of them, like physically, that
makes sense
you can't like a father can never get, and I don't know what that is. Not to say that makes them a worse parent.
But that baby is from the guy's cum, so I mean, like,
it's also part of his body, I guess.
But you don't carry them for 8 months.
Yeah. Carry them our whole life. That's what we do.
So do we. we actually carry them while we're in the embryonic stage. You don't get your sperm until you're a teenager.
Oh wow. Got you.
Ball drop. Or mic drop.
Ball drop.
Ball drop. Your balls drop. But yeah, I love talking about this conversation. I feel like I always learn something new, like perspective-wise, about like the gender roles. Like,
so I guess a clear mind thing is like you said, like how that doesn't make one necessarily one better than the other.
Yeah.
But like you said, we need each other, so one has strengths more than the other does, and so it evens it out completely like that. Like you might have a closer nurturing thing, but like as much as people hate to like label women as that, like it's kind of just like a natural thing that you guys are, you know.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like I kind of see what she's saying with the whole like the nature or the nurture part of it. With like we've always been told growing up like that these are the roles that women play in the home and like in the workforce, whatever. But like if you think about just hormonally, I think our like chemical hormones just tend toward being like more of a nurturing or caring, and then men's like the testosterone. There's a reason why it's higher because it gives them more strength, it gives them more endurance, all these things, and I think that's for a purpose. Whereas, like, our hormones give us more, like, a softness and more, all those things, so.
And the thing is, we could never even truly test that, like, even if we had some type of simulation.
What do you mean?
Because, like, for example, like, okay, let's say we had two, we're both, yeah, oh god, like two, like, for the simulation, let's say we had the things, like, just to simulate things, like a woman raising a son by herself, and a man raising a son by himself, and a woman raising all four variations of it.
Yeah.
And we run a simulation throughout their whole lives, but who's to say what's successful and how we can measure what consider like a better person? Like how can we? You
can do it like in terms of like salary. You can do it in terms of like if they've been incarcerated.
I feel like that's an unfair thing. Like what someone like doesn't believe salaries.
I think I got it. Corey just gave you the one-liner answer, and that just
too many factors.
Yeah, and I have another one to that. Is like this is why it's so good to hear different people's perspective. You should never be so hard in one opinion because like you should only talk from your personal experiences, because the more that you give your personal experience and people can relate to that because they have similar personal experiences, that helps them along their way.
Yeah.
But if you speak out of turn, out of your experiences, you're really not giving a service to anyone, you know? And you can say it was from research and research is good, but it's as much as you can retain, you know? And at that point, I don't know. It's really what you resonate with emotionally.
Hang on. You just said the same thing twice, though. I'm sorry.
So I guess
you said
I'm saying that like with all these things we're never going to be able to test it, we'll never be able to figure it out. But
and you said we could, right?
I think you changed his opinion.
When I said we could never measure it or test it, you said we could.
And you said
test what exactly?
Like the simulated, like if we were to put like a child in all four situations and test like which one would come out the best, like single mom, single dad, which one?
No, I mean.
We just have data that
technically,
exists.
I mean, you can plug it in fucking AI and see what comes out, but realistically, no. Like, obviously you
Was
can't
that a
test
planned
that
transition?
shit, but it's like
Good transition.
I don't get it. Oh no.
I mean, yeah, I'm down.
Let's do it.
I'm not. No.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Let's do
you're
it
not
then. Let's
done.
do it.
Sorry.
Let's do it.
Oh.
Exactly.
Let's
Yeah,
go
finish
ahead.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
No, I said I'm not down. But
Jacob wants to
Oh, wait,
continue
sex
giving his
transition?
opinion
Is that
on
what
what are you
his.
talking? No.
We're talking about is the transition to AI. is that-
Yeah. No.
Let's do it.
No.
Any question you said, we're open to answering. So let's transition to that.
Yeah. But
I mean, do you want to wrap this up with a bow?
But are
We
you
can.
saying that you still have things to say about this conversation? Is that your point?
I mean, I guess, but it's,
Yeah, he was in the middle of his statement, so I
Not
wanted to
that
hear what he had to
important.
finish
Okay,
it
go
up
ahead.
with.
forgot already.
Aw.
All right, then let's transition since you forgot.
Let's
Do that on purpose. Wait, so
Yeah, I guess what I was saying, that maybe I said it twice, and I just to clear it up, is that all this is valuable. I think open discussion without like having hard opinions is the most valuable for anyone, because when you talk from your personal experiences, and when you talk outside of that, I think that's when it gets messy and it doesn't do as great of a service as it could.
well, I think facts are important for sure in a conversation, especially when it has to do with like.
But when we're talking about this, the facts are like.
I mean, okay, but you can feel a certain way about something. Like I could feel like I grew up fine without a father in my home, but if you look at the data, like objectively of how most people do without a father in the home, it's not great. So whether or not that's like, I mean, there's been a lot of studies done on it. And it's kind of like
Control group, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like
They have value for sure in those situations.
so as long as I guess I would say as long as your experiences are also informed on something that's like, grounded in something,
Agreed.
then you have a leg to stand on. But I think if you're just talking out of your ass, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Because like, you can say whatever you want then if you're kind of going by that. Like just share your personal experiences. Like I don't know. I like to
I'm just
sometimes
saying
rub
that-
myself in dirt and dig myself a hole in the garden and pretend I'm a carrot. Like does that make it like I don't know.
I just think it's more valuable for people. Like if someone came to you for advice, do you want to
Well, then
hear
it could be
whatever?
harmful though if you think about like.
No, it's total transparency. Hey, these are my personal experiences.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
if you
what-
come with that, like
Yeah.
if you lead with that and you're just saying this is my opinion,
yeah,
say whatever you want.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's irrelevant. That was just a
Nothing
thought I had.
So AI.
Yeah,
we
with
want to talk about
with
AI.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We couldn't run that simulation in life. I think personally, I think there's too many factors. Maybe we could get a good enough sample size, and
I'm actually gonna try that later.
but
See what
with
happens.
AI, it's so structured and there's boundaries within it. I feel like you could make it really reliable data, couldn't you? More than if you tested it in the real world.
I don't even
Well,
know.
How would you
someone's actual
derive the data?
consciousness?
Wouldn't it just be like feigned data? If
Yeah.
you ran like an AI simulation, like isn't it just pulling from the same data that we would
Yeah.
look at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that way, it'd be more efficient, but I don't know if it'd be more accurate.
Yeah.
I have to piss, dude. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. Right there.
I wouldn't close the door all the way. The lock is broken. Never fixed it. Somebody got locked in there. Let's be
If you
smart.
do, it's all the way to the left.
Yeah. So go.
I think it rewarded.
Are you
That's
looking?
okay.
You get your phone going, right?
Mine's going.
Oh, that's good.
Think.
That's so
Did
funny.
it die? Was that 100%? I swear.
No, I think it stopped recording. That's the problem.
That's okay.
Why?
I don't know. That's weird. It never stopped recording.
Has it ever gone on this long? Oh, watch out behind you.
My bad. We recorded everything.
But it stopped.
Yeah.
No worries.
My bad. I don't know why it stopped.
I still got mine going. Hope we're
Let me
live.
see.
So what do you
That's
think?
weird. So it was 3 hours of footage. I wonder when it stopped.
3 hours?
Yeah.
Really?
But you had 3 hours of footage?
I still have 3 hours of footage.
Oh, like you
Oh.
still have 3 hours of storage.
I was like, we've been talking for 3 hours.
I know.
It was
Yeah,
like
I'm
maybe
saying,
almost.
like,
Oh, I have something I want to discuss with the group.
Okay.
Me and Lydia talked
Is it
about
related
the
to
other
AI?
day. No.
It's like we can talk about AI. Not my favorite topic of conversation, but
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just feel not very informed on it, honestly.
that, and I feel like it always comes back to the same thing. Like the core thing is like, is AI good or bad for the
Yeah.
world?
It is the same thing, and we're all regurgitating the same information. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really helpful. It's just fun to talk about.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about like
Good
what.
to know that I never recorded this song, so
Yeah.
I wonder what you got. I'm gonna try to fast forward all the way to them to see what you got.
Yeah, I wonder if did it have like a timeout or like
That's what I'm thinking. Like, well, why did it stop?
Maybe an hour and a half, because we've been talking for almost 2 hours.
I think it's around 25 minutes when it stopped.
Oh wow,
Oh,
that's
damn.
pretty.
Yeah, it stopped really early.
That's crazy.
I just had to turn it
Good
off
thing
now.
you set the camera up.
Yeah.
Your
Thank
phone.
the Lord. This whole video is AI, by the way.
This is a simulation.
Hopefully I don't forget my thought.
Your thought don't. Oh, do you want to tell me what it is so I can help you?
No, I think I got it.
Okay.
It's about time.
Is it about slime time?
Yeah. It's about slime time, baby.
It's a slim time. The AI did not do a good job.
Hey.
I mean,
Oh,
throughout the
people don't
hour.
I'm
notice
trying to
unless you
fit
point
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about arcade and diner, right?
It's getting there. It's in its infancy stages.
That's
Give it
true.
some time.
You guys should have another that's like both of you for when you guys do it together, since she's such a frequent guest host.
We do.
Oh, really?
On our one
So I
show.
guess if you don't record 30 minutes at a time,
Oh, interesting.
Good to know.
I didn't know that. You stop right at the 30-minute mark. So.
Yeah, I was like, that seems too perfect. That must have been for like a setting of some sort. I'll try.
It probably is a setting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know. That's good
It's
to know.
only been like an hour, dude.
Yeah.
It's been
So-
an hour 15. It stopped at 30 minutes.
The
I turned it
consensus
off.
is AI always ends in the same conversation, so we're not going to go there. But I am interested on what you guys think about like time and did Albert Einstein nail it? Like,
Is
Wow.
time
Why are you asking
relative?
that right now?
What?
I'm asking it because Lydia and I had a conversation about it a few days ago when we were working the same shift together,
Yeah.
and that
Okay.
like she
Oh,
interprets
okay.
time.
I was like, I had no idea what you were talking about. I was like,
She's like,
did
I
we
don't
have
remember
this?
this
Yeah.
conversation.
And then you, okay, I remember talking about. I remember.
Yeah,
When we were
she-
hosting.
yeah, she interprets time differently than I do. So
Or I guess we experience time differently.
Okay, how do you
It wasn't
experience-
necessarily that we interpret it. Well, in that
Yeah, sorry.
moment, we experienced
Oh.
it
Thank you.
differently.
So it's just
But
what you're
finish your
talking about
question. That's just what we meant. He meant.
No,
like,
I
experience.
think it would be best to get into this by an example. Like we were both
Okay.
hosting at the restaurant, and she was saying when it's super busy, she feels like time goes by really slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the majority consensus would be like the busier it is, the faster time goes.
That is how
Definitely.
everyone feels. I'm the only person who I've talked to at work who feels this way. But I think when it's slow, I'm like, damn, it's already like 12:30, and I like feel like I've only been here for like an hour.
Wow.
But
Let's figure that out.
I feel that way because I feel like, specifically at work, with most things, I do feel like being busy helps me pass the time quicker. But specifically at work, and whatever time warp it is, I feel like if I'm doing a lot, I'll feel like I'm doing the most. I'm sitting like in the instance of hosting, I'm like, I sat like 10 tables, whatever. In the time that I sit 10 tables when we're busy, I'm sitting, and I look up and it's only been 10 minutes. But when it's slow, I'm like, oh, I sat 10 tables, and because I'm doing
Things
the
in
same
between.
amount of work in a longer time, and I'm doing like things in between, and I'm taking longer to walk back to the host inn or whatever it is, I feel like the time goes by faster.
Do you feel like that only at work though?
And-
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
as a
only at
hostess
work.
or as server too?
No, server too. I feel like the less I'm doing, like I'm like, oh, I
So-
just served this many tables, versus I served the same amount of tables in a 3-hour span or a 1-hour span. You know?
Can I ask you a follow-up question real quick? So do you think fuck, I'm gonna lose it now that I do you okay, so are you a dreamer? Like, are you daydreaming a lot in between when it's slow? And so do you go to different places in your mind, or is that irrelevant, or not you?
I not really, honestly. Like
So what
I'm
could
just
it be?
like.
I think.
I literally just think it's that I'm like it's I guess like I think that the way that I almost like interpret the time is based on like how much I'm doing in the time, and it's like how when you're like doom scrolling, you know, like you're doom scrolling and you're on your phone and you look up. I guess this is sort of the opposite end, but it's like it's the same type of time warp where it's like you're almost basing the time that you think it is based on how much you've done in that time, not based on like the amount of time
So
it's actually passed. So it's like I guess I'm sort of at work measuring time based on like
Productivity.
how much I've done, and because I've done so much in such a little time, I think more time has passed, but more time hasn't passed.
Do you guys measure time on productivity, or is it a totally different timeline or measurement?
I'll go last.
Okay.
So-
Well, I'm curious. You said you think you know what the problem is. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, I'll go last.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I have a follow-up question. Do you feel like you experience like stress when you're really busy, like very strongly, or do you feel like you get stressed out
I think it depends on the day, but like in general, yes.
On a
Like
busy
in my
day?
life, yes. At work,
Just at work.
just at work.
Like when you're at your busiest, do you feel like you
When I'm at my
feel the
busiest,
stress?
I feel the stress.
Okay.
And I
That's-
would say I feel less stress when
It's
I'm less
funny because
busy.
we always talk about it. I feel like I'm thriving when when we're at work and everyone's losing their
You
shit.
thrive under high pressure.
When people are losing their shit, running around, I'm like, look at this.
Yeah.
like, look, chaos.
Yeah, like
And
literally.
that's when he's setting up his time lapse video and like fucking around and like, oh my gosh, we have to show you that.
And I'm
It's
like,
so funny.
I'm just chilling, but I feel like that's the best when it's slow. I'm like,
It's so fun.
Yeah, bro. It's like
Because you're the most aware at that point.
Yeah,
At least I am.
Yeah.
When the world's burning down.
My theory would be, this is just solely based on that alone, is that maybe because you experience stress very strongly, like during those busy moments, you're like really present in that moment, and that's why time feels a little bit slower. That's
Wasn't
what
there a
Okay.
thing we talked about
I
that
feel
we're
like
saying
that makes
the
sense.
type of
I
person
think
people
I
are?
do feel more. So maybe it is sort of a
that what
daydreaming
you're
thing,
talking
and I
about or
feel
no?
less present, and so therefore the time like flies away because I'm like
You're not really
not
focused
there.
on it.
Yeah, but I am very like present and like at least like paying attention only to what I'm doing, and it's sort of like when you're watching a clock, 5 minutes is the longest 5 minutes ever, but when you're not paying attention to the clock,
Yeah.
then it's not.
Because that happens with me at work too. Like I'll be doing something and I'm like, oh my god, I've been doing this for an hour and it's only been like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. I
Yeah.
feel like it must be that, like
So
how
what's the
present
thing,
I am.
Jacob? We talked about when people are like under high pressure. We talked about.
I think it's pretty obvious, right? But some people just respond to stress. I wouldn't say better, but differently than others, right? So whereas some people, not to generalize, right? Maybe don't respond too well, right? There's others that obviously thrive in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah. So that can be chopped down to obviously like a personality thing, or I think like a genetic thing. You know what I mean? But as far as that goes, yeah, it's.
I think it's
All I
an
would say
nurture
about
thing,
that.
probably.
Yeah,
Most-
I agree. And
mostly.
like a personality thing.
Yeah.
Do you think personalities? Sorry, this is really off topic. Do you think personality is
both.
nature or
Both.
nurture?
100% both.
Yeah.
100% both, yeah. Okay, but we can all get on the same page with time when you're having a lot of fun on vacation or something.
Yeah.
Like time flies by.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I realized I learned this recently that like lifetime as you get older, life tends to go faster. Not because I used to think because you got like more responsibility and stuff like that. You become more like routine oriented. So you take the same way to work. You work for the same amount of hours. You come home and you go to the gym and then you make dinner and you do that like 5 days a week and you do that for 5 years. And your brain is always like catching patterns and like optimizing things. And so when everything looks the same,
Doesn't really process
it
it.
doesn't really process it. So
Well,
you have to go for
mhm,
novelty
that-
things for you to have a long life.
That's what they said. Like when you're a kid, it takes so much longer because your brain doesn't kind of process time. It doesn't know like, oh, like this is a year. Like to them, it's like the longest year ever.
Well, they're present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Everything's new too.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, like yeah, it's so much longer compared to your mind is recognizing, oh, you're paying attention to the time.
Right.
So you're recognizing that like the time you're in.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd actually never thought about that. Like
Yeah.
why it's harder as an adult to stay present versus like when you were younger, like summers felt like so like long and amazing because
Yeah.
you're really in it. And like I remember summers in college, I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah. Everything was so stimulating back then.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now everything's
So was the
dulled
original
out.
question to each person what we were asking? And Jacob said you go last.
I was asking
Yeah.
like how do
I think they were just giving their diagnosis for
Your time issue.
for my weird time warp.
do you think it's
that
like
no one
stress?
relates to.
Do you think stress
I
changes?
think it's like what she said about being present. I think that maybe like I'm feel so like zoned in. Like I said, like it's like I'm sitting there paying close attention to something as if I'm watching a clock, and so a short amount of time feels way longer. Whereas I'm less like present, I'm less paying attention, I'm less like locked into something specific. So I feel like because of that, it goes by quicker.
What do you think the answer to that is, Jacob?
Answer to what? Like,
You said you had the answer to
the question of life.
No, but you
I
said
think
you
I already
had
answered
you
it.
had you
No,
wanted to go last
you said
on
the-
what you think it is.
I forgot about that already.
Oh, that's okay. I
Well,
have
no, I forgot what the topic was, but
No, when I said like why I feel like time goes by faster when it's slow at work versus I feel like it goes by slower when it's faster at work.
no, but that's not what Corey said though.
He had asked us like what our perception of time is. I think that's what you had asked.
and
Just
that's
like in
what you
general.
wanted to go
along
last
those
about
lines,
that?
but
Yeah.
It was
what
something.
was it
How do
exactly
how do we feel during
you
those
should be
times?
live. Tell us what the fuck we were
Yeah,
talking
on
about.
God.
Yeah. Chat, what do we say?
I mean, we can move on because I have something that I really want to
Go
know.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay. I've asked this before on the podcast, but I'm just so intrigued by it. Do you guys have an internal dialogue? Do you guys talk to yourself in your head like a full-on conversation?
Oh yeah, all day.
All day. Like you're answering like, hey, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. I should
Like,
probably
I'm gonna
apologize.
go get my this. I don't
Like
have to
talking
do
to
Do you
yourself
narrate?
as if you're a person, as if you're yourself. Like,
Yeah, do you narrate like your life basically in your head?
I think those are different. Like, I feel like, like that's saying like you should do this, you should not do this. That's like talking to yourself. Like, do you talk to yourself versus do you narrate? Because I narrate, like I have an internal monologue of narration, but I don't frequently like.
You're not conversing with
I'm
it.
not conversing with myself
Ever?
usually. No,
It's just like
sometimes
your
I do.
brain like saying what you're seeing.
Yeah,
You're like, okay.
I feel like when I'm really trying to be conscious about either a decision or just the way I'm acting or the way I want myself to function, then I have a sort of like, let me have a sit down conversation with myself moment and like do have a conversation with myself, but I always have like just a dialogue, like a monologue, not a dialogue, a monologue.
Okay, just you.
Just me
Okay.
narrating.
Robert, same thing?
Or are you like talking to yourself all the time? Like, are you always like,
I'm talking outwardly, like I'm talking.
so you're narrating?
Yeah, I'm speaking of what's going on.
So you're like, oh,
Like, if
that's
you
a
could-
fucked up situation. What just happened? He slapped her.
Yeah.
In your
Yeah.
head.
I'm not like what's his name, fucking Ghoul. What's his name from Lord of the Rings?
Oh,
Oh,
Gollum.
Gollum, yeah. He's like, Mercy precious, leave him, no, kill him.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, like,
oh, I do that.
Jacob?
I would say yeah, but not. Very rarely do I have like the actual conversing with myself. I feel like I'm just very, how do I say, kind of like ahead of the curve. So I just cut that part out, and it's just like I'm always just like.
You're very okay. That's interesting, actually.
So wait, what do you mean by
So-
that? You cut it off? What did,
Yeah.
what do you mean
So
by
it's like I can
It's very-
recognize like the communication between like either like my thoughts and my actions, but very rarely do I waste time like
Listening
actually
to
like
yourself?
Anyways, rarely do I like actually like sit there and like converse with myself. It's like okay, I already know what I'm thinking or about to say, so like
It's like an extra step you take
exactly,
out of
yeah.
it.
So I just
Okay.
put it
Okay.
out and just like
Is it impulsive?
no, it can be, but even when I do shit impulsively, it's like I'm always very like conscious of it. You know what I mean? It's almost like what might seem like an impulse might just seem like a either like predisposed decision or just like a very quick one, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like rather than just like lashing out like a fucking retard.
So, I think we just said the retarded. I think we brought that word
Oh, you
back.
dropped the R word.
I think we can bring that back. So wait, but is there ever a time that you have an internal conversation with yourself? Is there moments like that or never?
Never talking to myself, just registering my thoughts and obviously like spending time on them and you know like
Like
I
what?
think it's almost
More
like
reflective than
We need an
So-
example.
Yeah, metacognition.
rather than like talking like this, right? Like speaking, right? It's just like, okay, everything that's in my head is already in there, right?
So you're just kind of sifting through the thoughts.
Exactly. So it's just kind of like not like conversing back and forth. It's just like, okay, like just straight on to like the answer or the point, you know? It's just like
This actually
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
So it's like as if you're in your head and there's like a movie of like all your thoughts and you're just
yeah.
kind of like looking at it and you're like
no,
Yeah.
reflecting
no
on it?
movie,
no,
That's
not
what I'm
actually,
saying.
No,
but like
yeah, but
But like in
He
the
doesn't
way
have
that
an
you
internal
can
dialogue.
that you can like recall it.
no visualization, no imagery,
Well,
like no
like the
production, like just
like-
straight like, you know?
But
Yes.
she means like the recall aspect, like the,
Like the vibe of
ability
it.
to recall it.
Okay, so recalling shit, yeah, it's kind of weird because it depends what it is, right? But like sometimes I'll get like a flashback
You lost your keys.
to something, or
Let's say you lost your
Ooh,
keys.
Wait,
My
oh,
keys?
yes, this is really good.
Go ahead. If you probably can describe it better.
my
than I can.
keys. So I will say sometimes with like small stuff like that, especially since I've been back home, it's kind of like I'm like slowly starting to kind of like dumb down. But I'm
What
still
do you mean
conscious
been
of it.
back home? Sorry.
Like just home, right? In general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you like went somewhere and came back, like.
He was enlisted
Right,
for a little bit.
So
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
it just seems like that part of my like brain that was just so used to just like to the point, right? It's just kind of been like almost like fading away. I really fucking hate that too, you know. But what was the question again?
I want you to go deeper on that though. So like, what's fading away exactly?
He was asking like when you lose your keys, like.
Oh yes, yeah, right. So
What were you gonna say about that?
Yeah, so
Well, I think he'll.
as something as
Okay.
like
Go
simple
with
as
that
that, right? So I will say that like I think I still have like a much like broader perception than like I would say, and you know I don't want to sound arrogant, right? But like than the average person, right? Like it seems like most people will just like sit and ponder and like think or like overthink about like solutions to like whatever problem they might be having. But me, I feel like I'm very quick to just kind of like zoom out and just like take all the useful info that like I actually might need or might lead me into the right direction and just cut out all the extra bullshit, right? So it's kind of like, okay, let's say I lost my keys, right? Okay, immediately, last place I fucking had them, right, was over there, right? If I don't know that,
Are you picturing that, or are you like running back
I
to your
picture
head?
that immediately.
Yeah, so
Like,
there's. I think what he's getting at is people visualize things differently when they're either thinking about a thought or even if it's like memory or just actively thinking about a thought.
well, that's obvious, but I think what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people just kind of like, I don't like. It seems like they kind of like entertain just like the like problem solving like portion of it. Like, oh damn, like
Can you skip the problem solving? Is what you're saying?
no, I just like I don't know, like.
You can get there.
If that sounds weird as fuck. It's like, I think, whereas most people would like legit just like I don't know, just like sit and think or just kind of like ponder, right? It's kind of just like I'm just like snapping to like the most recent
actionable thing,
relative piece of like information. Yeah, and obviously like taking like.
So your brain is really efficient with like going through your thoughts.
Sounds like.
It's not like a bad quality.
Well,
is it true?
do I think it's true?
Yeah.
I would say so, but obviously, I mean that's kind of like a whole spectrum on its own, you know. And for
I mean, you might be on the spectrum.
for me to say, definitely am.
I don't think you have an internal dialogue. This is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, so look. So, pause my thought, right? So, as best as you can describe it, what exactly do you mean by internal dialogue? Like,
So this is the very confusing part, and I haven't.
it's
really,
supposed to be though.
Yeah.
It's
Do you want
supposed
me
to.
to explain it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, well, this basically, I don't know if this is where it's coming from for you, but for me, there was a video I watched a while ago about like the different types of internal dialogue you can have. Some people are purely visual. There's no words. It's just when you're thinking, it's just like visual in your head.
Hyperphantasia, I think they call
Yeah.
it.
And then there's some people who don't see any pictures. They just see words. Some people only hear sounds. Like, for example, in the situation, like you're trying to remember where you put your keys. Yeah. Some people, when they think it back, they're only going to be like, oh, I remember touching the plate that I put the keys on, and it's very like physical.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, I
That's
only
how I
remember
would think a lot.
like, oh, I remember the dink it made when I put it in the plate. That's where it's at. Or like some people, they see the visual of where they put it. So it's like in that way, your internal dialogue is kind of all encompassing. It's like the way you talk to yourself, the way you visualize things. But I think what he means when he says internal dialogue, some people don't hear like a narration or even like a conversational voice in their head. There's no sound at all or like words.
It's just you have the thought, like you're saying, it comes to you and you do it.
Yeah, like you
And
don't
you're like
think
this
about
and
it in your
that.
head and it just kind of comes out of your mouth.
It's very cause and effect.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think
is it the simple way of saying it? Can you say hello in your head?
They probably wouldn't hear that. So like if
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it's like you walk outside. If a person who doesn't have an internal dialogue, they walk outside and it's cold, they would just be like, it's cold. They wouldn't like think about like, oh, it's cold out. Like, I'm kind of chilly.
exactly that's a good way to
Yeah.
put it. So
That's also some shit that I like don't do at all.
Like,
So,
think
but
about
could,
that?
but
Like
can you? Like,
verbally
could you?
point out like
Like it's cold
irrelevant
outside.
thoughts. Yeah.
So yeah,
Exactly.
your brain is efficient in that way where like if it's not relevant,
That's
it's like a
relative,
waste of
but-
time. Well, relevant to you in the moment.
No, but that's relative to like what you just said about.
So are
it.
you
Oh,
saying
yes.
like,
It's like-
that makes it sound though like you think thoughts or that you don't think thoughts that you don't say?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Wait,
Would you say
wait,
that's
wait.
true?
Say it again.
The way that you say that makes it sound like you don't ever think anything that you don't say.
So
Because
every
you're
thought
saying-
that you have, you say. Would you say that's true?
It just depends. Like, oftentimes, like I feel like I'll be thinking, and if I don't see any use in saying it, I just don't fucking
Oh,
say
so
it.
what will you think about? So like, can you give an example? Because if you have like in a conversation that like you're in this conversation and you're thinking like, oh, I want to say this, but how am I gonna say it? That doesn't happen.
That does happen, but
Okay.
I don't usually ponder on it. It's kind of just like most of the time, like I would say, like somebody says something, right, and immediately like I have something to say about it.
Okay.
But
So
rather
yeah.
than just like you know, like
you hold it back, but you
I wouldn't even say I hold it back. It's just kind of like okay, like
You
there's
so
a thought,
you so
right?
instantaneously write it off.
No, like it's still there, right? And
But it's not a conversation. It's an idea that you're going to
implement at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just an idea that's holding there, and there's no conversation going on to this idea. It's just holding there. until you're ready to say it.
I think so. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
I don't think you have a dialogue or a monologue.
Yeah. Maybe not.
It's something to think about, dude. Because I discovered this.
I would say. Hold on. Sorry. So.
Go ahead.
I definitely. Okay.
It's so interesting.
A monologue or a dialogue? Because
A
dialogue
monologue.
involves
A monologue. Yeah.
A monologue.
A dialogue would be like multiple people in your head. Like
Right.
I have different voices in my head.
You're crazy.
What?
He's crazy.
He's crazy. Lock him
I
up.
can describe
Skip
I can describe what I mean by that, but unless you have something.
Continue.
No, I was gonna say like if I'm doing a really hard workout, there's a part of me like my inner bitch is like wait,
Dude, he does it out loud too.
yeah,
The both of them right here.
yeah, my inner bitch is like oh fuck,
Yeah.
just quit, like
Did you say your inner bitch?
yeah, my
Yeah,
inner bitch.
I'll literally hear him whispering to himself. He's like, "You're not gonna win today, little bitch." He's like, "I'm gonna win,
Yeah.
bitch." What are you talking
Yeah,
to?
I'm like.
So you knew he was crazy.
Yeah.
You still let us come over here.
My voice sometimes when I'm doing something really hard and my mind's telling me to quit, I have trained it well enough that the sergeant in my head is like, no, fucking keep going. Like this doesn't hurt that bad, and I think about it physically on like what I'm actually feeling in that moment. So those are the different voices in my head. And they're not sounds. They're not different. Like
one's a man and one's like a woman.
yeah. It's just
But you actively
One's an angel and a little
envision
devil.
/
Yeah.
hear like that secondary voice like.
I don't have any
Or you
imagery
just, like,
whatsoever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
and that's
you just,
crazy.
like,
Yeah. Right.
That's wild.
recognize it then, right? Like.
Oh yeah, I recognize that like my mind is trying to get me to quit, but I'm like, fuck you. I know what I'm capable of, and I'll keep going.
Yeah.
In a workout sense, and that's when that conversation happens the most.
I'm actually kind of glad that you brought that up because I think a lot of people don't know that. I would say the times when you learn about yourself the most, dude, are either in solitary or in suffering, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what you just said, dude, like.
You can cry if you want to. I'm here.
yeah, I definitely might, but about that though, right? So a lot of people. No, actually, one. Sorry. Go into more on what else you think about, like.
Yeah. So my internal dialogue.
Yeah.
So that's a very common one that happens. But if I like,
Let's say you're at a store and you're trying to decide.
Let me think about a real example that I had recently, because it usually happens when I offend someone.
Oh.
When you offend someone?
Yeah, so like, let me think. Something probably happened today at work that I said something I shouldn't have.
Think about Brooke and Bronson, the whole Owen. You accidentally told Brooke how much the shoes were, and you were thinking about that.
That's a good one. Yeah, so if I say something impulsively and I didn't mean to and I didn't like consciously think about it, just kind of came out. Like my friend bought really expensive shoes. He just told me like in confidence, and then I kind of just said it to his wife.
She didn't know.
And she didn't know, and I didn't know there was gonna be any problems. But after the fact, I'm in my head like, oh man, I should. This is me talking to myself. Oh man, I should have said. Why did I say that? I'm like, I need to apologize.
I feel like I do that in kind of the same sense though, in the sense where like, but it's not only on bad things. It's almost a day-to-day basis. No matter what I do, like it could have been like the way I talked to a customer. It could have been the way I grabbed the handle.
So you're judging yourself.
I'm repeating the situation in so many different ways I could have done it. Compared to like, I poured the coffee to him. I'm like, why did I do that? Like, in a different way, like, I replay it over and over. And on the way to back, walking to the service station, I'm literally repeating in my head the same conversation I just had.
Taking away from the present moment. Why are you doing that though?
I don't know. I just do that like with everything. It could be like me, anything. I have a conversation, I'm like, and I replay it over and over.
Even if there was
over.
nothing wrong with it?
Nothing. It could be something so simple, and I
You
just.
guys don't have that?
But is it always in a critical
Only
way, or is
Yeah,
it sometimes?
that's what I want to know.
That's what I'm saying. It could be
Is
for
it-
something similar as pouring
But
coffee.
is it
Like,
in a critical way?
Is it always
Always.
critical?
what do you mean critical? What do
Are
you
you
mean?
always judging yourself? Is it always
that
with
situation?
a harsh sense like, hey, you should have done this better, you could have done this differently? Or is it like, dude, you fucking poured that coffee the right way?
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of it. I more feel like it's a possibility of what
Could have happened.
Yeah.
So it's not critical. It's objective.
it's-
You're just objectively like curious about
Repeating
how
it.
it could have gone otherwise.
Ooh,
Like the other reality of it.
Yeah,
That's kind of
that's
Well, that makes
why-
sense. That makes sense why you
Fun way
like
to
asking
think.
questions like this, because I feel like that's in line with your curiosity of like you're curious
It's like
about
you're
everyone's
the
different
hand
lines of
upside
thoughts,
down.
and you're also curious about all the different realities that could have sprouted out of any simple action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
That makes
almost
sense.
all day. every day.
All day.
Let me ask you this.
It's like a
Do you
timer.
like it or you don't like it?
I don't
Is
know.
it intentional?
I never
Control it?
realized until this past year that I do it.
Oh.
What was the turning, or what made you aware of it?
That I sometimes realize I was talking to myself in front of people.
And when someone brought to your
What?
attention?
I was like, whoa, like I was like, I wonder if they think I'm weird now because I'm replaying it in my head, but I'm verbally replaying it. Like I'm like, but whispering it to myself, and so I don't know. It's.
That's cool. Wow. Does it? So it's not something you can control, right? It just happens.
It's just so instant now. It's like all the time now.
Has it always been like that when you look back?
Yeah.
Or is it hard to say?
Do you feel like it has to do with anything? Nah, it has to do with that.
What?
The efficiency part. Like me thinking if I could have done it better.
Well, no, I think sometimes just when you're thinking back, if you are maybe in sort of more of like a critical state of yourself, you are like thinking like, damn, or maybe if you're just in a time where you're like, I wish I had more time right now, then you'll think about it in sort of like how I could have done things more efficiently. Or maybe it's a byproduct of you thinking that way because you know that after you're going to look back on it and think of ways that you could have done it more efficiently. So instead, before you like literally like plan it out before all the different ways it could go.
But it's usually after everything that happens. It's like so instinctive for like I'm like, okay, what if I just had this? What would have happened? And I think maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Maybe you learn from it. Maybe because I think trial and error is one of the best ways to live your life is by like actually trying, figuring out what went wrong, learning from that failure. And if you're doing that, a simulation in your head that didn't actually happen, but there's like outcomes happening in your mind. I don't know.
It's
Maybe you're
almost like
subconsciously.
Well, I agree. Like, I feel like it's almost like he's like having those experiences without actually having to go through it. Like he's saying, like, oh, I could have done this and it could have gone really bad.
Yeah.
And therefore, he won't do it next time.
Though.
But is it a net?
But is it still not? Is it not still valuable?
Like,
no, it's
isn't that
valuable
what
for
anxiety
sure.
is though?
What?
Is anxiety that? Isn't that the whole point of anxiety? Is playing out heads in your situations?
But if it's only critical, but the way that it sounds like you do it is very curious, and it's very in line with the way that you're curious about other things, and so I don't think it's necessarily like in an anxious way. You know, you're not like always stressed about it. Like when you're replaying things in an anxiety way, I feel like it's different because there's more of like a stressful undertone. You know?
Thinking of all the bad outcomes.
I think it could be unnecessary, for sure.
As long as it's not debilitating.
It is, right? Because, I mean,
it's all what
one,
if.
You'll never know for sure, and two, thinking about it doesn't really change shit.
He's very efficient. He's like, don't spend time on that shit.
Yeah,
Right,
he's like, that's some bullshit.
monologue.
Like, just stop doing that.
It really is, but I still do it.
People like you.
Like, everything you just said, I still pretty much do it, but, like, I'm very conscious of it. So, for the most part, I will say, when I do catch myself doing that, like, even backtracking to, like, you know, maybe, like, saying something, like, offensively, right? Or maybe I said or did something to this person and I meant it one way, and I can kind of sense that they received it a different way, rather than just kind of like sit and ponder, like, damn, like, I wonder if, yeah, right?
You'll just say sorry or whatever.
Yeah, right. So rather than like ponder and just like assume, I'm just like, okay, this and that. Hey, I meant it this way. Like, I did this because of that. You know, just
wow.
You just cleared up on the spot.
And the weird thing,
the
most clearest example I can give you that it just came to my head when I was talking about it. I was saying something. Is the number one thing I feel like clear as day is like when let's say I'm like, what's up, Corey? I'll go back to that. I'll be walking and be like, what's up, Corey? What's up, Corey? Like replaying it, the different ways I said it and how
Actually, I do that sometimes too. Where
really?
I'll repeat the words. Like, okay, I do this in more of a critical way. I feel like, but it's not all the time. It's definitely not all the time. But sometimes I will just be oddly in my head and I'll think and I'll say something. And then I'll catch myself saying it again out loud because I'm like, I said that in a really weird way. Or like, I'll just be like, sort of like, it's almost like I get too like observant of myself and I'm so like.
You become like detached for a
second.
second.
Literally, it's literally like I'm like so perplexed by something simple I did that I'll literally catch myself repeating something out loud.
You become too self-aware and you're like, get me out of
here.
here.
The same, like, where like literally I would repeat the same thing out loud.
And that's
like,
what I
because
realized.
or
Like,
mouth it, I
going
mouth
like
things
this,
a
I'm
lot.
like, I'm not saying hi to anybody. Like I'm just.
We're all on the spectrum, I think. That's hilarious.
Back to you. I think that's why you're an acquired taste.
What does that mean?
I think.
I know it's Pride Month, dude, but
I think.
Yeah, kind of taste.
I think you're not for everybody because
definitely fucking not.
No, I don't think he's not
not.
for. I think it's hard for people to understand him. Like, and some people won't take the time to understand him.
Exactly.
Fucking so.
And that's what I'm saying is because
Definitely
you are very like matter of fact. What comes in your head, you say it. There's not the conversation going on, but if you do offend someone and you think they deserve an apology, you would in that moment. But there's not this like, oh, how did I do it? What like caused that? It's just like this.
And based on the way that you guys were describing, go ahead.
Sorry. Most recent example I can think of was this morning.
Okay. Hit us.
I was working on my car with my homie, and then we went to go eat, and we walked into this like gyro place, gyro place, right?
Gyro.
Mediterranean. Yeah. Sorry.
Come on, it's Pride Month.
Right. Anyways, so walk in, and the guy didn't speak like great English, right? Thankfully, right? Because I mean, food's about to be busting. But I asked him, hey, like, I'll take the loaded falafel fries, or the loaded something fries, right?
Yeah.
And he said something back to me in like broken English, right? But I could tell by the way that he's like repeated it back, like he kind of took it like, well, not the way that like I was intending it, right?
Okay.
And then he went to go like make the food and shit, and then when he brought it out, I noticed that he kind of still had that like same like demeanor from like after I said what I had initially said, and I recognized it, and I was like, oh well, don't really like that, right? So I was like, oh no, hey, so I was asking like what you recommend on the menu, right? And then he kind of like, oh okay, you know, like got it, right? So not that I like should really, I mean,
what was your intention for picking the conversation up where it was uncomfortable?
White skating.
So what was your intention of bringing it back up to him so he could understand where you were coming from initially?
What was the point?
What was the point?
Solely because I didn't want him to like think that I just like said
To explain yourself in your
Wait,
accent,
hold
right?
on. Wait, what?
So the way that I saw him, at least in my mind, perceive it was like kind of in like the fucked up, rude way.
Okay.
And not that I really should bother like correcting myself in the minds of others, but like because I'm just fucking me. I was like, hey, like
You don't want to offend him.
Exactly right.
Is
So
that what
it's
it
kinda
was?
like-
You don't want to offend him?
Yeah. So it's kind of like
And you wanted to clarify, like you wanted to make sure that what you were saying was not misunderstood.
exactly.
Does it frustrate you when people are like almost hesitant and they kind of like, I don't know, if people are more like stubborn about like the way that they receive something and they're almost like defensive of the way they received it and saying that like you
Like they're saying that
Oh,
I'm
wait.
in the
I'm
right.
right. I'm in the right. Like
To
even
feel
though
offended?
to feel offended, I'm in the right, despite the fact that you meant it a different way. If someone is like that, does that
I
frustrate
didn't mean
you?
to call you gay.
Oh,
I meant
we
it in
can't
a
talk
happy
about this
way.
on Pride Month.
Yeah. Right. Well, no, actually, we should.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect.
So,
I'll need this episode.
I was so ready to just like cut you off and just like say like no. Now that I just forgot your question again. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Does it frustrate you when people are like
Oh,
when
yeah.
people are like in
Yeah,
defense
I
of
was-
the fact that they should be offended by what you said, despite the way that they just didn't
Yes.
receive it
So-
the way you meant it?
I was so ready to just cut you off and say like no.
Mhm.
I don't get frustrated, but then you finish your sentence, and I was like, wait, like it is kind of annoying, especially when it's like a person that either one I care about or two like I just don't want to like
Be on bad terms with.
exactly right. When they like legitimately think that oh no like what you said was fucked up and you meant it fucked up, and,
Yeah.
and I'm like no, right? Like sure it sounded fucked up, but like here I am, right? Over explaining myself just to make sure that you're getting the fucking point, like hey, I didn't mean it this way or I meant it that way.
Right.
And despite that, like despite the extra effort, like you're still fucking like I don't know.
Choosing to be
just-
offended.
Exactly, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Can your ego leave it unresolved if they're not getting it?
I think it would be working the opposite way. Like, would my ego be okay if I just leave it be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, but then sometimes it's kind of like.
I feel like that's enough
It's
for
just-
person he is, though, as I've known.
Wait, say it again?
To leave things unfinished, settled, on like. Never
Like if you're not on the same page and you've taken the time and they still don't get
You
it,
think
you're
that's
like,
on them and
I
that's
won't
their
waste.
fault?
For the most part, yeah. Like there comes a like just a point where it just becomes too much, right? And it's just like okay, like whatever, right? I feel like most people just kind of end up like forgetting small shit like that, anyways, or blowing it over. So for the most part, like no reason to like
Harp on
over
it.
explain myself, unless it's like I don't know, like somebody that I spend a lot of time with, and
Yeah,
in
they
that case,
deserve it.
yeah, so if anything, I would say that's probably why most relationships like don't work out really. It's because lack of communication, but more specifically because of what I'm talking about like right now. It's like the refusal or the negligence of just like going into like the small things, right? Like especially if you're with somebody for like a long time, it's like you can never be too precise or like too exact with like what you're saying and like how you want them to like feel, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but a lot of people, at least from what I can see, just like don't really like, I don't know, like just, you know, like just don't really like hyperfixate that much, you know? And
you think they just wash over little things like that?
A lot of people definitely do. A lot of people definitely do.
I disagree.
You think
I
so?
think you're another exception because you hyperfixate on how you like how people take what you say. I think about that, but I wouldn't say like if let's say I said something to somebody and it may have offended them, I'll think about it, but I'm not gonna like sit there and ruin my day over it. Like I might apologize, of course, but like I'm not gonna be like I should have said it this way. I wouldn't say like I hyperfixate like you do.
I definitely do that though. I wish I was more like you, right? Like,
but there's pros and cons to both.
Right.
I feel like, well, yeah, but as I was about to say though, I'm sorry, just backtracking to what I was going to say. They're definitely like, I think it's kind of important for me to like be that way, like deep down, because like, how do I say it? Like, not superficially, but like externally, like I come off like a lot different, right? Seemingly so, right? So it's kind of like if I didn't have that, then I could see myself just like going like above and beyond and just being like fucking Homelander. You know, just kind of like, well, everyone else doesn't fucking matter, right? Like,
yeah, you kind of have that. So what is it, solipsism, where you think you're the only narrative that matters?
Exactly. So like, see, but like that's just like the logic side of like my head at work, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like I guess emotionally, right?
The human side.
Yeah.
Gross, right?
This is the boundary. This is the boundary that God has put in place to keep him from being a serial killer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's like this little
I'm
tendency
not
of
joking.
humanity.
Like I
Holy
think it
shit.
is.
That,
Yeah,
Is it
well,
not?
Yeah, right. Like you could say that, but it's kind of like if I had to really, okay, this is gonna be so fucked up.
Go ahead.
I'm so interested to hear this.
If I had to like describe to you like the way that my mind works, it's like if Patrick Bateman believed in Jesus.
Okay.
Who's Patrick Bateman?
He's a American Psycho.
American Psycho.
If you've ever seen the movie or know of it, he's a psychopath. He kills people.
And he's very like, I kept referencing him earlier about something. I don't remember what it was. It was something
The
else.
suit and tie.
Oh, the suit and tie thing. Because I was like,
Yeah.
it's very like.
So
He wakes up every morning. He does the same thing. He brushes his teeth at the same time. He's like
very highly efficient.
Everything is
like,
so efficient. Everything is like a psychotic level of efficient.
As
you
it
know?
should be, though, right? Like,
Why?
well,
Call
if
me
you're talking
crazy.
about efficiency, like,
perfect. Well, he's more
Yeah, but why
perfectionist.
would we talk about
I wouldn't
efficiency?
call you
If
that.
we're talking about the meaning of life,
no, well,
No.
see, we're not getting into that. We're just talking about efficiency.
okay,
Because that's what she's comparing him.
Sure.
She's comparing him to Patrick Bateman because of how efficient he is. But I think it's more perfectionism with Patrick Bateman. That's
Yeah.
where there's like a little bit of difference. But he's basically like a serial killer with morality. Is what he's trying to say.
He's
I mean,
like,
I definitely wouldn't say that. Okay,
That's-
well,
that's
but
really
he's like
extreme.
confined by morality in ways that like he has like the personality of a serial killer.
The psychopathy. I wouldn't say
Well,
personality. Like, you
yeah.
don't want to hurt people, but the psychopathy and the way that they can shut off, like they can be very direct with their thoughts.
Yeah.
And can detach emotion from it.
Yes, but he also has morality, which is something like he has a moral compass.
I wouldn't say that though, because I mean, that's kind of like,
Wait, they don't have morals?
well, you can't like openly say shit like that because it's like, oh, I'm a good person. Like,
Do you think that makes you not a good person if you state it?
I disagree.
I think it's a little like contradictory, right? It's like, well, like,
Just because you have a moral compass doesn't mean you're a good person.
okay,
though.
so, okay, you know,
Like
let's go with that.
everyone
Let's go with
that
that, yeah.
isn't like an actual
'Cause what is their
sociopath
morals
has
based
a moral
off of?
compass.
Yeah.
Well, there's a difference between a sociopath and a psychopath. So.
I don't know what the difference is.
A psychopath, they cannot form emotional attachment to anything. They have no morals in that sense because they cannot feel emotion.
I think it's both of them.
So, sociopaths, they can mimic emotion. I guess they don't truly feel it.
No. I think it's flipped. Psychopaths, yeah, because like
sociopaths are more unstable.
Are like the people that you know, like
Because they can be like the billionaires and stuff. They can
Bezos, like
function.
right, yeah, you know, so it's like
sociopaths are more
just like fuck everything,
crazy,
like,
Yeah.
so
chaotic.
it's like,
Yeah, but either way,
what's up?
I don't think either of them have like a moral compass. You know, that's
Cool.
what sociopaths and psychopaths. But what I was saying is that I don't remember what I was saying. Something about moral compass. I was saying you can have moral compass without being a good person.
Yes,
Because
right,
it
let's
just
go with
means that
'cause
you have something pulling on your heart
To go based off of,
inexplicably
right, yeah,
that
so it's
is
like-
separate from your brain and your logic.
Yeah.
let's go with that then. Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about morality? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you can
Well,
ask
no,
me a
actually,
question
well,
that
yeah.
I do ask this
What's
question a lot.
I was gonna say you can ask a question that we are never resolved on.
Yeah, we
I
kind of
don't
have
like
this
it.
debate a lot about morality because I have the belief that there is an objective truth and that truth is important to find or to be in pursuit of, and morality is based on objective truth, and he thinks that morality is basically preference.
You're gonna have to repeat that one more time.
Okay, I think there is an objective reality and objective morality,
So
but there
there's,
is an objective truth of what's right and wrong.
Oh, okay. So there's
Objective
like
good and
objectively
evil.
a
Good and
perfect
evil.
moral compass.
Yes.
And anyone can be at any point on the spectrum of closeness to the perfect moral compass.
Correct. And he thinks that morality is based on preferences. Like, as you as an individual, what you decide is right and wrong is what's right and wrong.
But then, like, a moral compass wouldn't even exist. Like, then a moral
That's
compass
what he's saying,
isn't a
it's like
thing
your own
because a
moral
compass
compass.
has to be attracted to something.
something.
It has to be, like, pointing towards something. And everyone's has to be pointed toward the same thing, or else you're just a person.
I agree with
and
it.
a moral compass doesn't exist.
Where she loses me, I agree up until that point. But where she loses me is that she thinks that there has to be an objective good and evil, and if there's not any like rules set in place, that people don't know how to find their moral compass, and they can't like really be a good person if it's not defined.
Well, I don't
And
think
I think
that
that's innate in you.
I think it's innate too, but I think it's innately the same thing for everyone. I don't think it's like innately
Exactly.
different. I'm saying I think it's innately like the same thing, like and it's innately objective, but that doesn't mean that it
Yeah, I
has
was
to
gonna
be
say-
defined.
Innate is like within you, like you're born with it.
No, well, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you. That was
like
a big word.
Yeah.
I was gonna say another
Intrinsic.
word. I was gonna say another big word, but he might not. Do you know what intrinsic means? Anyways,
It's within yourself.
it's the same thing as innately, basically.
Okay, so expand on that, and then we'll go back to her, and then we'll get to this.
Well, I feel like I agree, but I don't think it needs to be like. What do you mean by it needs to be defined? That you said that she said it needs to be defined.
So she thinks. I mean, you speak for like. It really needs to be. It's defined in religion the best, right?
So, okay, I perceive it from the Christian standpoint of morality is that, like, good and... If you think of good and evil, it's in terms of, like, what's laid out biblically.
Right.
That's what I think morality is based upon. Even if you're not religious, our country, like, our laws are formed on the morality set forth by the Ten Commandments and the Bible.
Right.
Whether or not people want to say it's from God or speak on it from that perspective.
Like
that's just what it
But
is.
all
The
the
Ten
founding
Commandments are-
fathers were religious, and they all
They all-
had
well, they
that
all-
sort of predisposition.
Some of them were
towards
not,
it.
but yes,
Really?
basically, yeah, basically, there's a whole like debate. Yeah, there's a whole debate about that. But essentially, like if you think about what we as humans now in this modern age think of good, of right and wrong. Thou shalt not murder. We think murder is wrong. Like the things that we think are right and wrong are perfectly aligned with what the Bible thinks. Now, it depends on if you're looking about like if you're talking about population at large, because if we look at like the left of the spectrum, people are into homosexuality, which biblically is not right technically.
Right. But I think it's like, I feel like I agree. I think that it's based biblically in terms of good and evil.
Yeah, so
but
like-
I don't think that all sins, like, I don't know, like, it's hard because I don't think that all sins, like, I don't know, I don't think homosexuality is evil, even though it's biblically defined as a sin.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think generally, like, the way that evil is in the Bible, like, the way that evil is described in the Bible and the way that good is described in the Bible, I do think that that is, like, the moral compass, the perfect moral compass.
And that's something I'm still exploring because, like, if I believe that there is an objective truth, and I believe that the Bible is the best proponent of that, then I eventually have to explore all the elements of what the Bible says is good and says is bad. And therefore, if I don't align with that, then that one is not the objective truth, and then that crashes my whole like perspective of like
Right.
what a truth is. And so then I have to find something else. So
Yeah.
I'm still kind of exploring that. And so far, everything that I've like learned aligns with what people in general think about to be good and evil, even if they're not religious.
So
Right.
do you not think like the Ten Commandments are the way to morally?
I think it's a great way to live your life, and I
Okay.
think some people actually need it. But for me personally, that hasn't grown up in religion. This is why I take a hard stance on this, is because I have found my moral compass through my personal experience, and I don't think it had to be defined by religion or anything that someone has taught me. Is kind of like what I have observed in my experience in my life.
And my argument for his perspective on that is like, even though he doesn't subscribe where he gets his viewpoints from religion to
My
be
morality.
from religion,
Does
it still
coincide,
is.
though?
I think,
yes,
yeah.
it still is.
It's
Well,
still what?
Like, so, okay, even though you're not deriving your morality directly from religion, right?
Mhm.
Does it still
Align with it.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that like my sort of response to that, also as someone who is religious, is that I feel like that's because I think there's a divine creator, and I think a divine creator has instilled some sort of moral compass in everybody, and therefore I think the reason that you're
Well, not
naturally
psychopaths,
inclined to
right?
those things,
Technically.
yeah, not psychopaths, but I think the reason that you're naturally inclined to those things is because those are the set of rules that you are like
Ingrained with.
that are
made with,
ingrained into
created
you.
with.
That's our whole argument though, is that like I believe that it's ingrained in us to know right and wrong. It doesn't have to
And
be
that
taught.
the argument from that is like that was written on your heart by God. Like that's why it's inherent in you, is because the Creator made you with that instilled in your body.
No, that's a new element that we just added, and that could be true. But I think
You just added that?
no, she just added that.
Oh no, I think that too. I think that's why that we feel it's inherent. It's because it's written on our hearts from the day we were created.
But I feel like maybe that's a hard argument to make with some people, because obviously
If you don't believe in God, then
if you
you're
don't
like,
believe
what
in
do you mean
God,
by
you don't
that?
believe in divine creation, you don't believe that something could be written on your heart.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish we could get back to like what the actual like question was that
Morality.
posed- Yeah, no, between
Oh.
you and I, and like what we couldn't agree on is that like I think that you can live a good life without having to
Seek truth.
have to like seek truth. It can just be innate in like what you have experienced and what you think is good and bad. Because your counter was like, what if someone grew up in a different culture that thought murder was fine?
Oh, I would say like, okay, if you're building a society, it's important that that society establishes what is true objectively. Like there has to be objective truth. Like what is the shared truth and reality that we are all functioning
For a
under?
society, but what about an individual?
I mean, that's different, I guess, but I'm talking the way that like people interact and like the way a society functions, like where there's murder and there's prostitution and there's all these other things that only exist when there's other people a part of it. How do you determine what's right and wrong?
Well, you don't, but that's kind of the point of. I mean, one of the points of life, right? Because as long as
What do you mean by you don't?
So as long as there's two people on the planet, there will always be conflict, right?
Right.
No matter what. So the point of life is like not to have everybody magically on the same page, right? Because at that point,
Well, do you think it's important to be in pursuit of that though? We
Of
all
course,
try
yeah.
to find that. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
But it's also important. Okay, so if you think logically, right, like you're gonna recognize that that's not gonna happen in your lifetime, right?
Mhm.
And if you're religious, you're also gonna recognize that what you're describing
Mhm.
is heaven.
Is utopia, yes.
Exactly, right?
And I think
that's
the reason why it's important, at least while we're here on Earth, is like this is a good example. While we're in Pride Month, for example,
by the way,
people,
that doesn't exist. Just
Pride?
So you guys know, yeah.
Pride Month.
Don't
Give
mean
me
to
the psyop.
offend anybody, but I
Really,
personally
in the month of Pride, you're
do
gonna
not
say it
rec-
doesn't exist.
I absolutely
In the month of our
Legally,
in the
it
month of
exists right now.
June
in our lesbian gay community, you're gonna say that.
in the month of June, a few days after Juneteenth, I publicly say that Pride Month does not exist. Also, rainbows are not gay. Rainbows are for the kids.
As a member of Grindr, he says this.
Yes.
Um,
All this to say, like in this now modern age where we have people who identify as a man when they're not a man and vice versa, we have to understand as a society that there is an objective truth. If we stray from that and allow people to believe that there is multiple truths or realities, then comes a chaotic society of psychosis and things that are just, they can believe that they're a rabbit if they want to. And that's just not true.
Well, hold on. So you saying all that, right? What
There's
side
no
of
power to the
spectrum are
people.
you on?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're kind of saying. I mean, you're
So I'm saying,
giving the
like-
vibe that you're like
Control.
for like all this like
Mhm.
happy bullshit, but then you're also saying that really can't be.
Well,
Or
yes,
that it
because we're
should-
flawed humans, so it
Bullshit.
definitely can't be. But I'm saying it's important to strive for that and not to allow things that we know are not true
So you don't.
for people to fantasize that it is true when we know for sure that it's not. Like we know that I know that you're not a rabbit. Like if you were to tell me I identify as a rabbit, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
I'm glad you feel
So
that
you
way,
don't-
but that's
Can
not
I
what you
go
are.
upstairs
You're
to make a
human.
call? I have to call his mom to feed my cats.
Oh no!
Go ahead.
I just don't want to like mess with the audience.
No, yeah, go for it.
You don't believe that there's one set of rules, is what you're saying, that we have to follow?
Well, who makes rules though?
Exactly.
Well, this is where the matter
Exactly.
of basing rules off of perspective comes into play and why it's dangerous to do that. Because if you have a society, like there are other third world tribes and societies that they used to practice child sacrifice.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how
How
can
did they
you,
decide that was
like,
wrong?
Yeah, like, how do you say that's
How
wrong?
do we decide that's wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Without objective morality.
Well, were they doing it for I mean, with ill intention or for them.
Well, let's say like one
What's the
popular
thing?
culture.
Like they might not be until because that's what they
Let's
believe.
think about-
Well, one popular culture did it for pagan gods. They believe that sacrificing the children would bring them crops or whatever. Like,
Yeah. But what, like, was that bad for the children?
Yes.
In their mind? Were they actively doing it, recognizing that? Oh no.
they probably weren't
like,
thinking about that. They probably
Okay.
think of what they benefit from it.
Okay. So logically. But
Logically.
flawed because I guess it was skewed by imaginary religion, right? So.
What do you mean? Like in that society?
Yes. Yeah.
In that
So-
in that pagan religion,
Yeah.
their assumption is like by killing this child we get something.
So are you going to the point where you're saying like it's a mindset? They're thinking like, hey, this is good. I think it's good. I'm doing it
Yeah,
for good
then that's
reason.
based on preference. So then their preference is that we kill children to get things.
And then you make the kid believe that. Is
Well,
that...
no, what I'm saying is like, do you think that's wrong?
Mhm.
Do you think that's wrong to kill children?
Well, we think
And
it's
why?
wrong because.
Why do we think it's wrong to kill children?
Well, here at this table because of one, our life experiences, but two, because of the country.
So is their objective truth more right than ours, that we perceive it to be wrong, they perceive it to be right?
I would say it's
Who's
wrong.
right?
Well, here's the thing, though, right? And this is the point where I would just call it and say, okay, no point in theorizing. Just
Well, this is why I
you
like to...
obviously,
Go ahead.
sorry. So like, you obviously know what side you stand on, right? And
I'm still exploring it, but I definitely am leaning toward a side right now.
okay, well, I think as somebody as hard-headed as myself, right? I think it's just kind of like, okay, like obviously I'm going to hear people out.
Yeah.
I'm going to sometimes, right, like take what they say into account
Yes.
for my thoughts, but ultimately though, like my values and my beliefs are like deeply ingrained. And
Ingrained from what, though?
well, I mean that's that's a good question. Obviously my life experiences, but obviously I mean I guess religion, right?
Yeah.
So what I think is right is fucking right, and I think that's how it's supposed to be. It's obviously going to vary from person to person, but that's kind of why. That's why we have conflict, and that's the way that the world is supposed to be.
I agree. That's why we have conflict. I don't think this is the way the world is supposed to be, though. Like, how do we all know that what the Nazis did in Germany was wrong?
Okay, so holy, you're fucking based as fuck, huh?
Maybe.
You're based as shit, based dude.
What does that mean?
Based?
Mhm.
Oh, it's Gen Z shit, but like
It's a term.
Like
What does
it's
that
like
mean, though?
just like without regard for like what people think about you, or like
Oh,
just
nice.
like yeah. So
I-
it's just
I
like,
respect
It's
that.
usually
It's like
a good term.
Unapologetically yourself?
what's up?
Unapologetically yourself?
No comment. Right.
It could.
Base, okay. Base is just like okay, saying shit. I'm not giving a fuck about the consequences or what people think.
I kind of respect that. Unapologetically yourself.
Exactly.
I love people that
Yes.
do that shit.
So based, right?
Yeah.
Stupid brain rot. That's fucking. Well, no, because
That's a pretty common term, I think. Well, at least if you're online.
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah.
I've never heard
right.
it until right now.
Based.
Yeah,
You've definitely heard that shit.
I'm all about that bass, but not
Oh, yeah.
not your bass.
Base.
I'm on the same page.
You've
Yeah.
heard it. Okay, Lil B the bass god. You've heard his name.
Yeah, because I thought he's in the music industry.
It's all about that bass.
But
So-
anyways, so, yeah, it's like just a dumbass term, but point is, right?
Yes.
You saying that leads me to believe that you've definitely got some thoughts on that,
Yes.
and your bass is fuck.
And I'm curious what other people think about it
But
because
see,
I
now
could
I'm
be
thinking
wrong.
like, okay, like why did you shut me down with the whole like no pride one thing like so quickly?
Oh, I was joking.
Yeah, she did it.
I was being
actually.
sarcastic.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, cool.
Sorry, I was playing along. I was
Okay.
playing along with that.
Okay. Cool. Well, continue.
He's like, I rescind all the opinions I made about you.
Yeah.
It's like, I almost fucking broke you off.
No, yeah, so my question is, because it seems like you're kind of in line with the preferences, like what you think is right. Was that kind of where you're leaning? Or are you more on the subjective morality?
He's just
or are you just
antenna.
exploring it?
I believe there's a morality that we should follow, and
Based on what though?
Like, do you think, like, it's based on preference in the way that, like, it's what you think is right?
I just think it's on like actions, like on maybe then by like, for example, like if you had the option. And like, we're excluding psychopaths from the subject-based topic, right? Like,
Well, no.
Go wherever you need to go.
Hey,
Like, for
psychopaths are
example-
still people.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
private.
kind of a weird thing. Like, like if I told Corey to kill a kid right now, like,
Yes.
how would that make him feel? That's where I think the feeling comes from. Like, because I always thought, like, how, like, we're not trained to laugh at funny things. It's just a thing that happens when we're laughing, you know.
Uh-huh.
And also not everyone's
when
the same.
But when you feel good, like you feel good, you feel happy. But when you do something bad, your body tells you, "Hey, this is bad," whether you feel it or not.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it's just like a human nature. Like your body's
That's my
telling you, is
to
like
some extent, yeah, but it's like
But where does
it
that
might
come
be
from?
exactly where does it come from and how
It
is
doesn't matter where it
defined?
comes
Like,
from.
That's where he draws the line. He believes it comes from him, but he doesn't think it matters where.
See, I think I'm in the
Well,
middle ground. I
that-
think I'm in the middle ground. Like where like
I
I
have to
agree
say
with
this.
Corey. Like, but I think maybe I'm the reason the way I am because I am created the way I was created because of God. Not
And
because
that's fine. And I
well, that's what
support
King
that.
Von said, and then he ended up dying. Remember that?
No.
I thought for a minute I thought you meant King Bach or
You
Bash
never
or whatever. I was like, he
No,
died.
no,
I was like, that's crazy. I didn't hear about that.
No.
What were you gonna say about it?
What did you? So you said like it just happens to you, like
It's
it's.
your feeling, your body telling you, hey, this isn't
and,
right.
And she's saying that there has to be objective truths for people to live a good life and to have a good moral compass. I don't think that. I think it's innate in you, and I think to run. I think what we're dealing with at this point is there's too many fucking people, and there's a small amount of people trying to control a lot of people, and that's where it gets like complicated.
And it's working though.
And it's fucking working,
So.
but that's where like. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's mattering that it's happening.
It absolutely does matter. It does matter. Because how are you gonna build like any kind of principle based off of nothing? It's like building
You
a
wanna go
house.
here?
Dude, it's like building a house with no foundation. Like that shit is just destined to fucking, you know?
Yeah,
Like-
I think the problem is that Corey is a very just a good person morally, and it happens to also align with what the Bible says is good and bad. Because
For
he is
the
this
most part,
person,
right?
yeah. For the hopefully,
Yeah.
just the not murder part he does sometimes. Because that's how he is, just naturally. It's hard for him to imagine that people are not that way normally. So when he's saying like it should just be like how you respond, how your body feels, because that's how his body reacts. The way his body reacts to bad things, telling him it's bad, it just happens to be in line with what the Bible says. But yes, you have to remember, there's people out there that are not that way. When they do bad things, they don't get that sense that like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah. Well, when they keep putting bad out into the world, and they keep having a bad life and having these bad experiences.
But they don't always have a bad life by doing bad things.
Because they don't recognize it as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many of those
But is
people
that
are there
necessary-
though?
Well, that's the thing. We have no fucking clue. But I'll put it into perspective to you.
I don't think it's a lot. Is what
Right,
I
right?
mean.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. But the way I see it, right, like, as a kid and shit, right, or I mean, since I was a kid, like, I would always see like other kids like doing or saying shit occasionally that seemed like over the top or like rude or like fucked up to like another kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I would always think like, damn, like that's kind of fucked up, right? But they're like legitimately just like going about it like
They don't think about it
exactly
twice.
right, and it's just kind of like okay, like me seeing that even nowadays, right? It's kind of like I wouldn't say I'm like a fucking good person, right? But like I'll see or hear people like say or do something to somebody else like right in front of me, right? And I think it's fucked up. Maybe I'll even kind of like recognize like that person like feeling like, you know, like not so good about what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of just like, damn, like what the fuck are you doing, right? Because like me, like I might come off as like an asshole, but like for the most part, I would say like deep down, it's like I don't want anybody to like feel like bad.
Mm-hmm.
I especially don't want to make them feel bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see that, especially like people that seem to have like contradicting like values and beliefs with like what they're doing and shit, it's like, oh like okay, dude, like what are you doing? You know, whether it's like I don't know, fucking bullying or just like simple shit like that. You know, like I'll see it and I'll kind of just think like, dude, like okay, like this guy is probably perceived as like a nice person by like a lot of people, but here I am, and obviously this doesn't depict their whole fucking persona and shit, but I see them doing some shit that I would never be fucking doing, and I'm like, dude, like that guy's kind of a fucking dickhead for that, you know?
And has that always been inherent in you, and have you always been religious?
Religion has always been present in my life. I didn't even really start like, how do I say it? So God has always been there, right? From my grandparents to my mom, right? Like he's always been there, right? My family's Catholic.
But you didn't start practicing till later, but have you
I
always
didn't
had
start.
that?
So we'll call it waking up, right? I didn't like wake up and like recognize like okay, like the importance and the truth in it until I was probably like, I mean, I guess I'm still going through that phase, but it probably started when I was like 17, where I just had that like,
Okay, but before that, did you still feel that way where you were in grade school and you saw someone bullying someone?
Absolutely.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like,
and it could be
like super young.
You know what you said, like God the Creator put that in him to inherently be good. So it goes back to our conversation. It's like, are people inherently good or bad? And does there need to be a structure to it, or is it?
So if we're talking biblically, people are inherently sinful, because that's why we're here on earth. It's because we are imperfect humans and we are full of sin, and so because of that, we have to actively work to live like the way God wants us to live. Because sin is easy. It's really easy to do bad things. It's really easy to to cheat on people. It's really easy to steal. It's easy to do the bad things. It's hard to do the good things. So because
I don't know about that.
you don't think it's
Okay, well, no,
Well,
wait. Because wait. I want to hear the example that came to your fucking head immediately.
Yeah. So you think it's easier to do bad things than it is good things?
it's easy
For
in
the most
McDonald's.
part, yeah.
It's hard to eat a salad. when
Exactly.
you're
It's hard
craving.
to make the salad yourself,
Yeah.
right?
It's hard to cook your own food. It's easy to go get fast food. It's
Voice love,
hard
by
to go
the
to
way.
the gym. It's easy to sit on the couch all day and
Exactly.
doom scroll.
So it's easy to do things. It's easier to do the bad things when they're more convenient. It's just always easier to do the thing that's more convenient. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's always like.
It doesn't mean that the
Detrimental?
convenient thing is always bad.
It doesn't mean the convenient thing is always bad. Sometimes it's easier to do the good thing that's less convenient.
On
Like
a
honestly,
literal sense, yeah, but for the most part, generally speaking, no.
But I feel like the fact that we were created to be we were created in God's image. We were created to be not sinful.
We fell short.
We fell short, and therefore now sin is also something that we will struggle with. But I don't think that means that we're necessarily innately evil like that. I feel like just because we're innately inclined to sin doesn't mean we're innately evil. We were still created in God's image to be good.
Yeah, I guess we're not evil. I would say
Evil.
we're sinful.
But isn't that the same thing biblically? And that's what I was saying earlier, is that I don't know if I believe and it's weird to say I don't think everything that's a sin is evil, because is that not what evil is biblically?
Can I pose a question?
Yeah.
So do you think that?
Don't forget that, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, continue with that then.
No,
I can
No,
answer
no,
something.
I- go ahead, go ahead.
Do you think we have? Do you think we experience? Do we have to experience bad things to appreciate the good?
Absolutely.
Does everyone agree on that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Everybody wants happiness. Nobody
So,
wants pain. But you
if
can't have
Eve
sunshine
never,
without
if
a
Eve,
little rain.
exactly.
Nice.
So if Eve never ate the apple,
Yeah.
Wasn't it Adam?
Adam, I don't know the difference.
Eve.
So-
Eve ate the apple.
Okay.
Eve ate the apple first. They
Eve
both
that
ate it. They
took
both
the
ate
fucking
it.
bite because that's what
Yes.
women do, right?
But before then, the world was built with humans that were supposed to live a perfect life.
They
And
were
if
the
it was-
only humans.
Yeah,
But-
but they were supposed to reproduce.
Right. They were
Yeah.
supposed to reproduce, and everyone was supposed to
Be a perfect.
never be tempted by sin, but sin did not exist. Sin still existed. The first evil act, the first sin wasn't when Eve ate the apple. The first sin was Satan. Satan's first sin was
Well, what
pride.
Okay.
It,
Yeah.
the original sin was pride in heaven. So there was he was the first to sin. So therefore humans, and he's not a human, but humans, there was always the
they're
option
aware
to
of it?
sin. There was always the option to sin. Evil was always there. So you it's not if you were going the route of how could there have been good before Eve ate the apple?
Mm-hmm.
But
There
you
was
understand,
good because God was good and Eve and Adam were good and Satan was evil.
But you get the importance in there, right? Because let's say, using that analogy, right? Let's say that there was no evil, right? There would be absolutely no point in being here, right? Everybody would just be.
So was it supposed to happen?
Exactly. No, wait, stop, because this is something that a lot of people don't seem to understand. It's okay, yeah, God made everything, right? But there's good and bad in it, right? But if there was no bad, everybody would just be, hail plankton, right? There is no choice, there's no decision, there's no purpose in living this life, right?
Mm-hmm.
If everybody on earth was just hey, follow Jesus, once again, that's pretty much heaven, right?
That's why
Yeah.
heaven doesn't make sense to me,
Okay, wait, why?
because it's all perfect.
Well, exactly, right? But that's what. Okay, so that's what we're trying to get to, right? Obviously, we're not perfect, right? But here we are, trying to do.
Why, if we know it's not what we need?
Well, the idea is that it is. It's everything we want.
It is what we need.
That's what.
Ultimately,
But if there's
right?
no bad,
So-
then
so
what's the point?
backstory-
You already said it.
But there was bad. It's not that bad didn't exist. Yes, evil has to exist for good to exist. But just because you're in somewhere where there's no bad doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It still exists.
Does it exist in heaven?
No.
Then what's the
It
point of
exists
getting there?
here. I
No,
mean,
but-
are we not all in the same existence? Just because it's a different place.
I think for
doesn't
him,
mean
so
it's not existing.
his struggle with the idea of heaven is like it's hard to fathom like being in a place where it's all perfect. Because if we think about it now, like being in a place where everything's good all the time kind of sounds like a little bit like hell. Like, because you don't get the different experiences of emotions. But I think it's really hard for us, our human minds and bodies and our limited comprehension to even understand what it would be like.
Right, for sure. Heaven is literally continually described as something that we can never comprehend.
It's like a fifth dimension. Like you can't describe a 3D dog to someone who's ever seen a 2D dog.
And like once we're in heaven, we will be able to understand it. There's certain things that we're not able to wrap
So I
our
think
minds
that's the
around.
part. Wait, I think
like
like that's what I think what I'm hearing Corey say is like before the Satan made it first pride. Like what was heaven like, right? Like,
Well, perfect.
Well,
but like,
it was just him and the
but
angels. It wasn't like human. It wasn't human.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like hard to kind of explain.
So was it just robotic then? Like robotic? Like people were just.
Well, the angels still had free will, which I think heaven must have been like what it was like before, like what it would have been like in the garden, because like the angels still had free will, which is why Satan was able to sin.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just, I don't think it was robotic, because the whole point of us having free will is that we're not robotic.
Yeah,
Mm.
we have the
So,
choice.
By the way, I didn't even think about pre-heaven before.
I know.
humans.
I had never thought about that either. That's really interesting. But
Because before he made the first sin, how was it like? You know.
Yeah, I think it talks about it in the Bible. I'm not sure.
I really don't know. I feel like there's a
Have we
lot.
gone on this topic for too long? Are we getting so lost?
No.
I don't know. It's.
Okay.
I mean, it is definitely something that's hard to wrap your minds around. Another interesting thing that I was thinking about, because you said like, how can heaven be perfect, is that biblically heaven isn't always perfect. Like heaven, there's like 1,000 years or something, or like okay, heaven goes on until the end times, which is the rapture, and then heaven basically moves down to earth. God reclaims earth as
That's
heaven.
dope.
God
I hope
reclaims
that
earth as heaven. Okay?
That'd be
At some
fucking
point, and then
sick.
1,000 years go by, and then there's another uprising of evil. And so, like, that's also part of where it gets confusing for me, because, like, you're trying to comprehend the idea of eternity and eternal perfection, eternal paradise.
same time.
But then there's also,
Still evil.
there's still evil. There's still something that happens that caveats that paradise. And so, like, that's where I'm stumped, and that's where I'm like, well, shit, I don't know.
I gotta ask this question. It's gonna take it way too deep, maybe, or too muddy. But did God create Satan, or
Yeah.
Yeah, God created the angels
man,
and
yeah.
everything.
wait, why?
Well, no, wait. Hold on, sorry. So, God created heaven, right, and the angels. Now, if you didn't know, right, Satan, right?
Oh, that's right.
Did I tell you that? Did I tell you that the way that worked?
Someone told me that.
I told him at work that it was his most beautiful angel, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was the
right?
most beautiful angel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, had pretty much everything you could ever fucking want, right?
Right.
You know, everything, right? Anything materially, spiritually, right? Available to him, right? Just because God made him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Lucifer, right? For him, it wasn't enough, right? Obviously, I wasn't there, right? So I don't know how it went down exactly.
Thanks for
but
clarifying.
pretty much, right? So it wasn't enough, right? Like he said, dude, like fuck that, like I need more, right?
He wanted to be God, basically.
He wanted to be God,
Yeah.
right? Homelander, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So fucking he wanted to be God, right? And obviously, well, that didn't work out too well for him, right?
But if
So-
God,
no, wait, say it.
but
Like,
but if God created him, knowing
Yeah.
that He's all knowing, and He knew it was gonna end in this way, why would He do that?
But
Once
that's
again,
the thing
okay,
is you don't that implies predestination and that implies that like
There is no
right
free
now.
will. There's
there's
no free will.
because God knows everything that's gonna happen. He's making every
Some people
person
believe
knowing
that.
what decisions. I
No,
know,
he
and that's
is all knowing.
he is all knowing. But that like I don't know. That's
we're
kind of where it
not,
gets
so it
confusing,
also
because it's
kind of
like
renders like the
You
whole
can't really
thing.
conceptualize it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's,
So
in the
it's
way
like,
that God's all knowing, He knows all the possible options, like all
Yeah.
the different realities that could be.
I love
It depends
that.
on which way you choose.
yeah. And so
I
we
like
have the will to choose what decision we will make, and so there's like God made Satan with the hope that he wouldn't choose that reality, but he did, because
Why
in
didn't He
God,
give it an option? though?
because then he would be robotic, because that's why he made us with free will, so that
Then
we
it would
would
be like you'd be
he
kind of like
wanted
a
us to
slave at that
choose
point.
him.
Be like
You want-
obsession.
Yeah, it would
He
be
wanted
like,
us
hey,
to
like
choose him.
you are
That's
loving me,
perfect.
and that's it. And that kind of would. He doesn't want people to love him because he says to love him. He wants them to love him because he wants them to choose the faith
Mm-hmm.
that they believe in him.
All right.
That makes a lot of
We're all
sense.
pretty much on the same page now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regarding that. Okay. Cool.
You ready to
'cause
get
a lot of
baptized?
people.
Yeah.
I would say even like a lot of people like in church, en masse like don't even like
Think about that.
exactly right. Or,
I actually don't know if most people in church think about like what I don't even
Or
think I've
care.
thought about. We just talked about before, like the angels in heaven before like sin.
But not just
Yeah.
that. Like I think he means even the basic of like
Understanding.
of the free will and the and like whether or not that's determined, and like I think a lot of people would really be stumped by the question of, well, why did God create Satan if he knew Satan was going to do that, if God's
Yeah.
all-knowing? Like, and I think that's something
that
that people
question.
aren't really able to dive into because it's just not something that is pretty to talk about in Sunday school, and so no one's going to explain it to you.
Yeah.
Which there should be no boundaries in church.
Yeah.
You should be
You
able
would
to.
fucking think so, right? There
You
should
should be
also
able to-
not be, bishops and stuff that are touching little
Of
boys
course,
and all that.
there
right?
should
Yeah, that or
But-
millionaire preachers and pastors rolling up in Gucci Prada.
Exactly, right?
Lock them doors. Close them doors.
Well, if you're doing a whole bunch of good, you should be able to fucking live a lavish life.
But you can also get to a place of that like status by doing bad.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
It's-
if you have
point-
ill intention.
I'll say, look, the point is, dude, like everything we just talked about just now, I think, right, it's pretty obvious that there's a fucking point for it, right? Like, God, obviously, whether he intentionally wanted Lucifer to sin or not, like, he created us to do something, right? And that purpose is, well,
We're figuring it out.
to hopefully find him, right? But obviously, we're all fucking figuring it out. But if there wasn't, like, free will, then there would be no fucking point.
Yeah.
So something that a lot of people don't recognize is that, it's just like...
And one last thing I'll say about the religion part is like there also has to be something said for like the nature of God, because after Adam and Eve sinned and the world was just sin ridden and he was an angry God and a very just God in the way that he kind of releases wrath upon humanity, he wanted humanity to succeed and be back rejoined with him so badly that he created Jesus to come and die for us.
Mm-hmm.
So if he didn't care about humanity, he wouldn't have done that.
Also, oh man, yeah, well, okay, so
that's also for a purpose. Like
right.
There's a purpose he has for humanity to go somewhere or to do something for us to have been saved from eternal damnation.
Right.
something else that a lot of people don't, I feel like, give acknowledgement to enough is the fact that, so there's like a bunch of different religions, right? A bunch of them.
Yeah.
Only makes sense. But the only one, as far as I'm concerned, where there was an actual human dude on this fucking planet that, whether you believe him or fucking not, decided to just give his life and suffer for the good of humanity, only one is Christianity, right?
All the other ones
Are just
like prophets that
built
wanna
off of
be-
nothing.
Yeah.
Prophets
right?
that never had to
Essentially,
suffer.
That never had to
foundation.
suffer, or they were put on a pedestal to
The
be
Buddhists
worshipped.
suffered.
Did they choose to suffer?
Mm-hmm.
What I don't know.
I don't know
the
anything
Buddha.
about Buddhists.
Yeah.
Buddha?
You guys
No.
haven't studied the other original.
He was fat, so it doesn't count.
No,
Real
He
shit.
wasn't ripped like Jesus.
that's fair. They're not together.
I don't know about Buddha. So.
I don't
Buddha
know
either.
exactly, but I'm pretty sure the Buddha grew up in really like a really rich family, and then he had everything he wanted, and then eventually he wanted to go outside the walls, and then he saw poverty and people suffering and all this stuff, and then he chose
A monk life.
a monk life to help people and to be in
Shut
charge of-
himself of the worldly things.
Yeah. So
Similar, right? But
Yeah.
he got it from Jesus.
Yeah.
So
He stole it. He stole it.
he's in God's image, so.
That's true. Yeah.
So should we wrap it up there?
Yeah. On the topic
Oh,
of
gosh.
Jesus.
Should we
Is there
say
anything
amen?
else? Yeah. Any other?
Remember Corey, like I
topics?
told you, God is good all the time.
Yeah.
And all the time?
This girl was
God is
was
good.
preaching the other day at work, and then Robert dapped me up, and he's like,
Oh, the lady at 71?
Yeah.
I remember that. I was like, y'all were talking for a long time.
Wait, what? She's preaching to you?
No, they were just talking for
Nah.
like a long time,
I
and
was
I could
picking her
and I
brain.
heard in passing by, I heard her say things about religion, and I was like, oh, interesting.
And then I was like, let me dive in real quick. So when I was diving up saying, hey, late Corey, I was like, hey, Corey, just remind you, God is good. Just so this
He's like, I know, I'm gonna start a conversation here. I know I'm gonna start something.
Oh my goodness.
I did that purely because they were talking about it. I was like, let me just throw that little thing in there for them.
"Yeah, that's fun."
Any other things you want to wrap up or talk about?
No, it's good. Man.
that, actually, yeah. So, did you guys ever hear Michael Jackson and what he said about Prince?
No.
No. So, Michael Jackson, when both of them were alive, obviously, right? He used to say that when he would make shit, right, like songs, videos, right, or had any kind
Did
of
it
like.
stop recording?
No, just at 2.5 hours.
Oh shit.
Damn, this might be the longest episode. Maybe.
We'll edit out like probably 10 minutes of like dead time.
You think so?
Yeah, like
Maybe there's the
bathroom
intermission,
breaks.
if anything. But
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
No, but yeah, right. So Michael Jackson said this publicly that anytime he had like an idea, right, or like a thought or something good, right, that with absolutely no time wasted at that very fucking moment, he had to go and put it into fruition, right?
Yeah.
He had to go make it happen, right? Because if not, he was so convinced that Prince was gonna fucking come up with
This
the
is
idea.
Jacob's favorite fun fact.
Okay.
Prince was gonna come up with the idea and beat him to it, right?
Yeah.
And
he saw this in dreams too. Like he like would dream it, right?
all kinds of shit, right?
Yeah.
Point is though, like if there's one one habit that any person on this planet has developed that I also have, it's fucking that one, right?
What is it?
Because too many times, like I've had an idea or a thought or like intention, right, to like do or say something or make something happen, and I just sat on it for so long, like for so fucking long, and it could be like the most niche, like just random shit ever, and then at some point somebody else fucking does it.
Yeah, you
Somebody
see it on the
else, right?
news.
He was
Next
gonna be
$1
on
million
Peak Finder,
idea.
weren't you?
My mom,
Well,
that reminds me of my mom does the same thing. My mom will see things and she'll be like, I had that idea 20 years ago and now it's $1 million idea. I knew I should have gone on Shark Tank. I'm like,
Yeah.
So why don't you act on it when it happens?
Well, I do now. You know?
That's
but
a thing
I'm saying
now.
though. So yeah.
So it's
that's,
advice for the people.
yeah.
sure. Yeah. Parting wisdom, right? So what you just said, right, kind of plays into the whole like why I'm very much the way that I am now. Just straight to the fucking point, right? Like no time wasted.
I like that.
But with that being said, though, right, that happened to me recently, right? I heard somebody say, after me thinking it years ago, right, that the 7 deadly sins, if you don't even believe them, like spiritually, right, still very much apply physically, right? So whether you believe in Jesus or not, right, like the wages of sin are death, right? And if you think about it, like the 7 deadly sins, not only are they going against God, but they're also physically like
I hope you tell me what they are.
detrimental. Yeah,
Are you gonna tell me there's 7?
So yeah, right.
Okay.
So pretty much,
Interesting.
not in order either, because I
don't
skipped
care.
Sunday school. So, pride, right? Pride. If you think too highly of your fucking self, right? You shut everybody else out, right? Homelander, right? You kind of you're separating yourself from everyone else, right? Which is never a good thing, and everyone else at some point, eventually, including God Himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is detrimental, right, on a physical aspect, right?
Okay.
As well, right? Then you have all the other ones, which are way more obvious, right? Sloth, right? Being lazy, right? Doing nothing, right? Sitting on the couch all day, right? That is detrimental to your health, right? Gluttony, right? Overeating, eating for fun, eating without purpose, right? Like every single bite that you take should be mindful, right? Right? You should like
Amen.
exactly, right?
We're in
So-
church.
What I do
Isn't
believe
that
is your body's a
also-
temple. I'll say that.
So is gluttony combined with greed in the 7 deadly sins? Like, are they considered
They're
the same
separate.
thing?
They're separate. I
They're
think.
separate. So they're
Separate, but I mean, you know,
So is this written in the Bible?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, right. So
Keep going.
It's like
I've never heard
it's
this.
like the sins of the 10 Commandments.
exactly,
Like it's
right?
like the
but
sins.
they
of the
just
10
also
Commandments.
happen
I
to
never heard
coincide,
this.
whether you believe in Jesus or not. They just happen to make absolute
Perfect
fucking
sense.
sense.
Yeah,
right?
I want to hear it.
On an earthly level, right?
Okay.
So gluttony, right? Bad one, right? You fucking eat too much, get fat, diabetes, right? Nothing good comes out of that, right? Then you got lust, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll skip that one
Okay.
for now, right?
You gonna circle back or what?
What's up?
You gonna circle back or what?
Maybe. And then
Oh, gluttony. Oh, you said gluttony. Greed.
greed, right?
Or
Self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, greed, right? Wrath.
What's
Anger.
Oh, okay.
So we have gluttony, greed, anger, sloth, wrath.
You said envy?
Oh no, envy. That's
Envy.
the one.
Envy's one of them?
Mm-hmm. Envy.
You can't be envious of something.
Absolutely. No,
What do you
and
mean?
I'm glad you fucking just said that, dude, because, hold on, sidetracking again, right? Not once in my fucking life, for reasons beyond me, have I ever felt envy.
I felt
And
envy.
Is jealous more positive than envy, or
No, envious is way more positive than jealous.
Any form of envy, like...
Because that's
not-
when you desire something somebody else has, right?
No,
Exactly,
no.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
Yeah.
what it
Yes.
is.
No. Jealousy is like I want what they have. Envy is
That's
just like
yeah.
I'm glad they have that. I'm happy for
No,
them.
that's not what envy
No,
is.
no,
Envy
that's-
is like, envy is I want what they have.
Yeah.
Envy is I
Maybe
am
there's synonyms
envious.
on-
To be
Maybe
envious
empathetic
isn't.
You're the
or
wrong
like-
thing the whole time.
Yeah.
To be envious
To envy
isn't-
someone. To envy someone.
Yeah,
It's like-
you can be like I am happy for them.
That's
Okay,
not what
here,
envy
here.
is.
No.
Envy
Yeah,
is the
that's-
feeling of wanting what somebody else has, whereas jealousy is the fear of losing something you already possess.
That's
So you're
interesting.
jealous. So
What?
I'd be jealous of another girl because, like, let's say you're talking to another girl. I could be
Oh,
jealous
yeah.
of her because I'm worried about losing you.
Okay.
Whereas if you were dating another girl, I could be envious of her because I want you.
Exactly.
Which I feel
Great
like
way to
isn't
put it,
really the
actually.
way that jealousy is typically used,
Used in
and so
it
I
at
feel
all.
like that's
No.
kind of
It's
dismissible.
definitely
But
misnomer.
either way, envy is like to envy what someone else has is to want
Desire
it. Is
what
to
they
desire
have.
it for yourself and
Which
desire
is-
that they don't have it.
Which is also.
Wait, it has to
synony-
be that they don't have it.
I don't know. It does.
Definitely, that you know, it doesn't necessarily that they don't have it, but you have it as well.
Right. Like
What's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, I guess if
like
you're thinking in the term of like a relationship.
I wish you could see this man's face in the
If you're
camera.
thinking about in the term of like, let's say, like you're envying somebody's wife, you want their wife. That would mean that they would be without their
Yeah,
wife.
Like,
that's
can
a bad
you
example, though.
envy anything goodly? Like, can you give me an example where you could
Yeah,
envy?
I'm envious that my daughter gets to go to Disney World with her friends, and
See,
I don't get
so-
I'm gonna look
yeah,
this up
well,
because I feel like it
glad you
might
made that.
mean that the other person doesn't have it.
Analogy, because okay, even something as like simple and like seemingly harmless as that
Yeah.
is still ultimately not good for your well-being, no matter what it is, right?
But I still feel a sense of like goodness that
That's
she's
probably not
doing.
envy that you're thinking of.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
another word for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
praising it wrong then.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
But
yeah.
like to truly just like look at somebody and see like something that they have and you don't, and to just like fixate on it and just be like, damn, like I really would.
It's a
really,
waste of time.
I really well. Aside from that, it's just not good, right?
It's a waste of time. It's not productive.
Yeah, I
Exactly,
feel like
right.
that's what it is, and it's I don't know. I think it's not even just that it's not productive because something that's talked a lot about in the Bible is contentness, and so I feel like it's the lack of contentness. You know, like
Yeah.
like a problem that's talked about in like Proverbs and stuff a lot is just like not ever being satisfied, and so envy just perpetuates the fact that you're never going to be satisfied, and you can
Yeah.
strive for more while still being content.
Yeah. That
So-
makes sense.
And that's
Okay.
basically the whole problem with social media right now is like a lot of people are comparing and envious of each other because of blah blah blah.
Mhm.
That's all of them. That was all of them.
No, I like that. Learn something new.
Well, not lust, but
Oh yeah.
we'll skip that one. So
Yeah.
That one's on
What?
the
Why do you
podcast.
skip that one? Is it
Just
just
does.
obvious?
sure, yeah, but
Yeah.
also yeah, just
Too
'Cause he does
controversial? Too
no,
gray area?
No, just like maybe we'll just leave one to
To think about.
be
One for the
interpreted,
imagination.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, so those are the 7 deadly sins.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Yeah. Do you want to wrap it up? Do you want to ask them what their piece of the puzzle is? I don't know if you're gonna do that.
Mm.
So wait, hold on.
Like
So
everything.
wait.
He's like, I don't
the
like that
podcast name
branding.
is
Pieces of the puzzle.
Pieces of the Puzzle. Why?
And my mindset, I went through a lot of names, but the reason, and I still don't love the name, but I like the intention behind it, is that like everyone holds a piece of the puzzle
To the meaning of life, right?
to figuring it out. And I think like the more that we talk and have open conversations without judgment, I think we get a little bit closer to living a better life
And completing the puzzle.
Mhm.
and completing the puzzle.
Completing the puzzle
And-
sounds
but
like
the-
seeking truth.
But the puzzle is never going to be complete. It's just in search of and getting better along the way.
So you do think that there should be a
Exactly,
constant
yeah.
seeking
So-
of truth.
No, I do agree
And
with
also
that.
the
But
recognition that-
but I don't think there's like a destination to it. I don't think there's a completeness to it. I
Like
think
you don't think we
You
ever
don't
get
think there
there?
is a completeness, or you don't think we'll ever get there? Because I think that we think
There is a
that
there is a
there
finish
is a
line.
completeness, but we'll never get there. We'll never get there in our lifetime.
Which is also the point.
yes.
So
But there is something that can be completed, right? There is a puzzle, we'll just never complete it. Because
It
we'll
doesn't-
never get
it-
enough pieces in our lifetime.
Well, there might be actually. If that's the parameters, if there is a puzzle to be completed, then it is possible.
Well, do you believe that? Do you think that?
No. I don't.
You don't think there is a finished puzzle.
Mm-mm. I think it was. I don't know what I think is as far as like if it was created by design or not, but I don't think it was meant to be figured out. I think it was meant to be felt. It's kind of like what Alan once says.
I think
It's
that's
about the
exactly
journey,
what
not the
we're saying, though, yeah.
destination.
I guess yeah, we agree with you, but I think we think that there is somewhere in beyond our comprehension a finish line. Like there is something that
Death?
is the truth. Yeah, maybe death, maybe something.
Literally, yeah.
Well, yeah, death is literally
Beyond
the finish line
death.
for humanity. But I guess beyond death, we think there is like a purpose, like a higher purpose. And do you think there is a higher purpose to like why we're here? Beyond death?
Let him go.
Something
What do you think
I've
It's
been,
also
something
okay
I've been
to,
pondering my whole life.
Yeah. I was like, what do you think
Yeah,
happens when we die?
I went through existential crisis.
This can't be
for
too good, or else
years
this will be
as
the
a
last
kid.
episode.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I'll leave it as a cliffhanger.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior? I'm just kidding.
Not
We'll
this
baptize
time.
you
That's
right
what it
now.
sounded like when you were like, and where do you think, and when we tell you what to say?
And phase
Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Slam.
Do you have 2.5 hours to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? But yeah, this was a really fun discussion, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
this
for
is
coming.
great. Thanks for having us.
Sorry, but I have an idea for your pitch for just
Yeah, I love
Should
to
this
hear
be
it.
off camera so no one
the
steals your
podcast.
idea?
No, I'm fine with it.
No, because they have to know where it came from first.
They work
so-
harder than me. They deserve
Exactly right. So I just think that like maybe at the end you should have like each person just give a
Like a
little bit
send-off.
of parting wisdom, right?
Well, is
I like
that what you were
it. I
saying?
do do
That's
that.
what I was
I do do that in some podcasts, and I actually want to keep that. So yeah, let's go around like.
Oh, I don't want to go
what's
first.
okay? What's the? Let's keep it like short. What's the best thing that you've learned through personal experience, or that you think is the most helpful to people?
I was thinking more like a quote.
Either way,
You can
whatever.
evolve.
Just to keep it simple.
Wisdom.
Well, that could be. I mean, wasn't your thing your Michael Jackson thing though?
No.
That's
I mean,
not.
I said it in the podcast, but it's not my parting wisdom. Then.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
It's a part of the book.
Well, why can't I be the quote? Why can't it be my quote?
It can be.
What?
It
You
can be
said
whatever.
It can be.
Yeah, so it can be whatever then.
That was just a recommendation. It
That
could
was
be a
just an
quote.
anecdote.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Heard.
I'm going last though.
No,
Oh, you go last?
I already did, so
I'll go-
going
I'll
last,
go
and you
first.
always get a chance
Yeah,
to go last.
you
so
can go.
go
You can go
first.
first since it's your podcast.
You got one, Rob?
No, I went. You should go first.
Okay. Man, I got a lot. On how I live my life and what I want to. I think, since we were talking about religion, I think heaven and hell exist here on earth, and I think it's a choice. And I think people are prisoners of their own mind, and I think where the real freedom of choice comes when they choose to find what their true potential is. And so I that's it. I think that there's a choice to live heaven and hell here on earth.
Mhm.
Does that make
Are you
sense?
saying like metaphorically heaven and hell?
Or the heaven and hell exist. right now.
Metaphorically, like
Okay, 'cause-
like you can live a hellish life here because of the things
Okay.
that you allow your mind to
Believe.
believe.
Mhm.
But you can also choose an optimistic life where
Sure.
this feels like heaven. And I think if you give yourself the power to do that, make that choice,
You can do it.
yeah.
Do you want to go? Or you want me to go?
You go. I'm thinking stuff.
Mine's pretty short. I would just say, in all things, seek truth. I think that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Good way to end it. Good like ricochet off of what we were last talking about. I think that you should leave yourself room. Like I think that to go sort of back to what we were talking about at the beginning, I think that you should leave yourself room for all types of ideas, and I think that letting yourself believe things like in higher powers or like in versions of heaven and hell, or heaven specifically, allow you to have hope. And I think that we should cling to hope.
Love it.
Don't be too quick to respond to everything.
I like that.
Don't react.
Don't be reactive.
I think your life happens in the phase before you react.
Which Jacob doesn't have because of efficiency.
Earlier I was gonna say how they're all like seemingly polar opposites of how your brains process things, and I was
Yeah.
gonna touch on that, but we can talk about that another time.
Opposites attract.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you got to go last. Hit us.
Oh no.
No.
They thought they could, so they did.
The little engine that could. That's so mean.